Hello and welcome back to Metaphor for the finale. In the last episode, things happened. I won't go through the recap. Go back and watch it towards the end. All of the plot up to more revealing who he really was has happened. So, and a lot of people sacrificed, but I'm always in denial immediately when I don't see it like directly happen. So I don't think anyone's actually dead, except for Nerys. I'm a little worried about Nerys because he slammed into the Caradrius at full speed and the cockpit directly got hit. I hope Nerys is okay, but I don't know how. I don't know, let's find out. You leave here, you'll never be able to return. Are you certain you've done all that you need to? Can I save? Oh, I can save here. All right, let me just make a new slot just in case. Oh. So many things happen back to back. I haven't even processed all of it yet, but when you leave that door, a predicament awaits you. If that's even a strong enough word. Luis transformed into a demon, and at his side, death itself.
However,
but you've already overturned your fated demise once. If you do emerge victorious and become king, you will truly have proved your ideals correct. The fantasy is not just an empty dream, but one with the power to change the world. It seems as though my novel has outlived its usefulness. Feel free to leave the old book here. From now on, you'll be the one writing the story, your own true tale of fantasy. Oh. How?
The kingdom rests in your hands now.
He ripped his heart out, though. How do we come back from that?
If there is yet any value to believing in something beyond us, prove to me that fantasy has the power to color reality. Now, onward, O King of a new dawn!
Good old Greg tune. Alright.
Everyone! He's awake!
Is he alright?
Thank the stars.
Huh. Considering it was we who engaged Amata's gambit, this must be rather humorous to him.
We pulled through, thanks to Nerys. Can't believe he caught us mid-plummet on that busted Skyrunner.
Okay.
Well, don't leave out highs, mate. Wouldn't have expected his wings to be so handy.
Never again.
We're in good shape. Our wounds have already healed. It was all so fast. I'm still a little shocked. True. It's bound to be everyone hoping the best for us below. Like what Luis did. Only the magic working in reverse. What?
He's full Kafka now.
Why? Why do you still stand in defiance? What drives such tenacity?
Luis! The world is full of injustice. Not everything you've said is wrong, much as it hurts to admit.
Yet, you would give up because you see no other way. And no future can come from that. We may struggle with fear and anxiety, but we shape our own destiny with our own hands. I have no doubts.
Yes, you're a man who has endured tragedy. It's foolish, I know, all this talk of belief. I know well. That said, if you cast aside all belief, all that remains is to endure a slow death.
As for me, I believe things can change. I have to. Singing and believing aren't so far apart, right? Even then, my songs touched you too. I know they did.
After I'd idealized my death more than I ever did my life, thanks to a chance encounter, everything changed for me. Now I can hope for the best, without fearing for the worst. The possibilities are endless. If you ask me, that's what magic is.
Luis, you got all these people who believe in you, because you gave them a shred of hope. And now, you want to crush that hope. Maybe you're the one who's scared. Deep down, you're afraid to admit to yourself, you're the one who's hopeless now.
Luis, the fairies came to live in the Sanctum. But do you know why we chose it? The Elder Tribe. We admired the people of humanity. To make our dreams into realities, we have to trust each other. When people do that, that's what makes them so amazing. If you deny the power of trust, if you make the world a place where it can't exist, then you're just plain wrong!
Fools. These false foundations. Who in their right mind could promise such fantasies? I will never let injustice be repeated. Never again!
Well,
His aura is entirely different. It's a magla burst. Luis is becoming a human.
Come on, then! No choice now. We prove ourselves with all that we are!
Let's go then! This is our final battle!
oh. It backfired on him, too.
Again, the world must be shattered, and again it must be rebuilt anew. You will die in tribute to my ideals, Prince.
I have to help everyone. Hear my prayer. We will win this.
Oh, thank
For
you.
the sake of our world.
Oh, we have 3 masks. Thank God they explained how he could have possibly survived with the people wishing for him, opposite of what Luis is doing, and that Nurus went and picked them up. It still doesn't explain how Nurus survived and fixed the runner in time to pick them up, but it's fine. They're all alive. I'm happy now. Joy, mirth, and ire, huh? Let's go for that one.
Behold.
Ooh, you don't take much damage.
There is
Behold
no
this
power.
power.
That helped.
Much thanks.
I owe you.
All right. I'm gonna regret doing this, but we're super buffed, so I'm kind of blocking that. That was. He has a lot of health.
Suits me best.
Holy. All right. If I pass her turn, I can do a royal sword. Ooh, that actually might be more worth it now. I do it on the mirth.
All right, let's go!
Give in to
Okay.
anxiety.
The Called World. You can't inflict anxiety on me.
My shoulders.
Shatter!
Now that's
Ooh.
beautiful dodge, Heisme.
Is one of his main things inflicting anxiety? Because he's screwed then, because the sword I have prevents anxiety.
Watch me.
All right. Oh, this actually might be pretty damn good.
Now
the other one?
together.
No.
Masked dancer.
Great job, Juna!
Our new
Warrior,
realm
we
and its
something new.
ideals have no need for you.
He used a Kaja or Dekundana, so.
I'll cut you down!
Brit!
Right on target! Nice
Let us
one,
clean
Troll.
up this mess.
I'm gonna be honest, there's nowhere to put my camera that's okay during this, so, like, no matter what, I'm blocking something. Yeah, no matter what. I'm just gonna block their faces on this one.
Face me!
It's fine, right? It's fine. Because you can't really see the third mask if I'm up there.
Some darker arts.
Please don't tell me I have to kill these at the same time.
No, I'm all prepared.
Right. No, I gotta save that for her. You just do... You know what?
Team up!
I'll give you the performance if I call upon a royal soul.
This should do a lot of damage.
You hit their weakness.
Yeah,
Don't let them
yeah.
know,
I shall
Juna.
vanquish evil. Hack and slash.
Damn. With no sacrifices to offer up, the area remains calm. Oh,
Vexen.
so if you give someone anxiety, do they immediately die? Is that what's going on?
The inequities of the world can only be cleansed if the strong subsume the weak. Now, be a noble sacrifice. Sacrifice yourself to the new age.
What? Is he trying to swallow those people? Wait, they're
Is that Katharina?
puppets?
Is that Katharina?
Deadly Magla and the puppets. Attack him before he swallows more.
No, that's
You think yourself equal to a
they just
huge
happen to have
fragility?
they just happen to have a
To the rear guard.
No, wrong button.
Surprise me. That's a lot of ailments. Be careful,
Then again,
okay?
do I overuse our items?
Oh, it's just you. I'll still give us all. Do I have no? Oh man, I gotta have everything up. Do I really not have one? Huh. Give me a minute, I gotta look through this. Huh, I thought for sure I had an AoE heat riser item, but apparently not. Let's do an
This
amber
should
stew.
work.
I knew you'd help.
Thank you.
Helpful as ever.
There is no power
Let's set it up.
in your fantasy.
I use this 4 turns. Yeah, not worth it. Do we have to get rid of this thing in the middle, right? Because
Coordination is key.
sacrifices in his mouth.
Yes! The puppet's Magla's mating!
Okay, we're good. And the one on the left has a yellow
Force through
tongue.
this one.
I wonder if that means that it's weak to wind.
Watch me!
I don't think it really matters because I don't have wind, but I wonder if that's what it's supposed to imply. You... I'm doing it. Finally.
I'll go with this.
Our
Thank
new
you.
world and its ideals have no need for you.
That crit
us
just
clean up
killed
this
that
mess.
mask. Holy.
Face me!
All right, for you,
Now we strike.
he doesn't have any buffs up, right? Nope.
Is now accept your fate.
Just gonna make it not accurate at all.
Behold, come forth, royal soul.
Wait, I haven't used this yet? Why would I give him a turn when I could just have all of them?
This, come on, follow me.
I already did this once in the battle, right?
Combine our strength.
Wait, you're letting me do it again.
I owe you. In the name of justice, no holding back.
I thought it was a once per battle thing.
Hack and slash.
Be neither timid. I'll use what I must. Some darker arts.
Ooh, that one's more weak to physical.
We'll do this together.
I'm counting on you.
There we go. They're both decently low.
Just what I need.
I I'm doing it.
Go unused.
Oh, that's all your MP.
Not this. Let's do this!
If you kill this, we get... Nope, you won't kill it. 4 to 6 times. Go.
We can do this!
Ooh, okay, that's not good. What the hell?
Rancor! Behold, I won't hold back!
He is a human. It should do
The
decent.
magic seeds!
1,300. Okay.
You struggle in vain. Give in to the truth. Your fantasy has no meaning whatsoever.
The area is calm.
Shatter! Sacrifice yourself to the new age.
That's a Clemmer.
Heise me. That's
No.
a lot of ailments. Be careful out there, okay?
Oh, wait a minute. That's Juna's hair. Was that last one Basilio? Or did you just choose someone from my party to sacrifice? Interesting.
Masked dancer. Come on, help me out.
I don't know why this says that I can only use it once per battle. Clearly, I can do it more than once,
Show
but
you.
we're gonna make it go.
Feel the magna.
Is that Heat Riser?
Justice.
Heat Riser on both.
Warrior!
You're out of MP, so we're gonna go ahead and. Where's the dragon medicine? Should I use? Can I use it? Yeah.
Could do with
Sure.
this.
The world
Now accept your
and
fate.
its people.
Mustn't settle for the easy way. I'll use this.
I knew you'd help.
Thanks.
My thanks.
All right.
Our new
I'm all
world
prepared.
ideals.
None fight us power.
Now we're just gonna do one.
This is it!
Ooh.
Don't underestimate me. Nice hit.
And then use that on him.
There is no power
Warrior!
in your fantasy.
No, yeah, I can afford
Cut
everything.
you down!
Right on
That's
target.
such a good move.
Let us
I know it
clear
doesn't
out
do
this
much
mess.
damage, but I just love it.
There's a better way. I
Yeah,
was
we'll
saving
debuff
this.
Ooh.
Shatter!
Well, I made him waste a turn. Oh, but he got a crit.
Get her some healing.
This heralds a
He's
new
building up an
world.
incredible amount of magma.
Sacrifice yourself to the new age.
Juna, are you okay?
What the hell?
Look, you're about to drop.
Whose hair is that? I don't think that these are party member related. I think that's just random people. Are you buffed? You're not buffed. That's not worth it.
Do I
Okay.
need to use it? I won't hold back!
Juna, careful. Your defenses are down. For my exit.
You're gonna be
And let it
fine.
go unused.
The
No
world
holding back!
and its people shall perish.
I could go for the crit. You know what? Let's
Hack and
focus this
slash.
one.
Not done yet.
Ooh.
See?
Not good.
No, witness our strength. I must
No, that's kind of a
power
waste.
of kings. Some apologies. Would you finish
Let's
it?
set it up!
Wait a minute. I can finally see this.
If you would.
How's this?
Oh,
Magma fading.
that's it?
My world!
There's no cutscene attached or anything.
World! Not yet. I refuse. I won't let it end like this. You will be a sacrifice. You will sustain the strong. O weak one. O peon.
His Magla has gone out of control. At this rate, even a man of Luis's mental strength would lose his grip on sanity.
In the end, even he couldn't escape his own anxiety.
Then by his own logic, we've got to put him down. The weak deserve to die. The bastard's own words, yeah?
If he saw a threat in our power, then let us wield it.
You can't just believe in nothing. Nobody can rely on themselves alone. It's a pitiful way to live, and it's time we put an end to it.
Luis Guiaban! Here and now, I will strike you down!
Okay, it's time to do this. Give us our final call to arms.
Come on, everyone. Let's go!
This is our last chance. We've come this far. We have to end this here and now.
No.
Is it just one target? Oh man, that actually looks pretty sweet.
This should work.
Juna, are you okay? You look like you're about to drop.
Oh, Juna is kind of in trouble, I
No one
guess.
here fights alone.
I knew you'd help.
My thanks.
I owe you.
She's gonna be fine.
Can't afford to hold back.
No. We're gonna
This
use
calls
that.
for one of these.
Be neither timid nor arrogant.
I'm also going to...
I
Sure.
was saving this.
Thank you.
Helpful as ever.
I'm all prepared.
We'll team up!
It's
15K?
too early for my exit.
How do we heal you? Sure.
Let's get some use out of this.
Much thanks.
My thanks.
Feel true terror. Give in to anxiety.
Ooh, this theme.
Nice one, Captain. His aura's overpowering.
Just gonna let the theme play.
Let's get on with it! No. Warrior!
Just hold
Let me
on.
rethink this. No holding back! I'll cut you down!
Right on target.
You think
Nice
yourself
one,
equal
Scroll.
to a Ujief's agility?
Of all songs to play here, the one in the Academia playing is pretty great. Let's go physical attack power again, because I've already used one.
I knew you'd help.
That helped.
Helpful as ever.
I don't really care about theirs anyway.
We'll do this together.
Have no need.
I'm counting on you!
Wait, no, that did not just one-shot him. Shit.
My world!
I thought he had more health than that.
But why? Why is it still beyond me?
Dawn breaks.
Damn. Just happened immediately.
Look! He's done it! He's finally beaten Luis!
Woo!
Does this mean he's won? I'm not dreaming this.
He did it.
Not yet. I have my ideals. Witness!
Everyone's fighting their fear and anxiety. Nobody knows for sure what's right. And even through all that, the people have declared you king!
We fight for more than justice. Show him our will against his. Show him the fall of his world!
Hold fast to your ideals! 'Tis your sworn duty as king!
You've wielded the power of kings! It's time to stop following in their footsteps! Now it's your turn to take your place with them!
Your fantasy is naught but lies!
What? What's going on?
Ooh.
Now, die!
We know. Fantasy is more than an empty dream. It's a dream with the power to change the world!
Oh my god, of course you...
Damn you!
Is that the whole ship that turned into a massive archetype? Help anyone in need. We saved the country.
That must be the Lord that governs Utopia in all worthy champions. The hero's archetype. The king.
I knew it was hiding
see.
somewhere.
At long last, fantasy has become a force that frees people from anxiety. A harbinger of change for a deadlocked reality.
The people have chosen my son. With that, my tremendous gamble hath borne fruit. Thus it is that my duty here draws to a close.
And now, the novel you wrote with such passion will finally begin a new chapter.
This voice... could it be? But how?
While flames swept through the sanctum, I cast a final spell to abandon my body and survive in soul. I became an immaterial being among the fairies. I had to, so I might provide guidance to the child on his most perilous path.
The power of the archetypes. Was that your doing?
No. All I did was awaken them to it. My voice carried the words they needed to hear. That power is no great and rare treasure. It is something that might be grasped by anyone with the will to change the world. And anyone has the power to change the world. Those children proved as much. Now, that boy has grasped the courage of a warrior. All dragons who still roamed the continent have fallen by his hand.
That's not Gallica's voice, is it? Sounds like Sounds a little familiar.
For what greater embodiment of the impossible is there than a dragon? And he now possesses the power and will to quell those forces.
I see. Then he is not so weak a child that I must hold his hand. I am truly sorry. I lost all the power I once knew. I saw the sanctum burn. And you. I lost you. Once they took our child from me, all my remaining hope went with him. And so I placed my faith in the royal magic. I believed that if this world would choose him, there would still be hope.
This shall do. That boy's fight, and ours, is finally over. The people no longer need some mystic relic or some lofty magics to soothe their fears. They have found the strength to overcome it within, provided they can turn their anxiety into strength and never stop walking toward the unknown. Reality will ever change. Their world shall be one full of possibility.
This isn't about the throne anymore.
Their world?
It marks the beginning of a new era, led by those who are truly worthy of the people's trust. Almost the appointed time now. The day is dawning on a new king's reign. And with it, my true passing. However, if I may truly end my life with pride in my boy and my love at my side, I've no regrets.
It's been a long road to this moment, hasn't it?
It has indeed. But for our son, a new journey now begins.
I mean, that was not really a surprise that his wife was the lady, the voice. It sounds like Gallica, though.
Heed me, all people of the kingdom. Dawn breaks, and the appointed hour hath come.
He speaks. With the announcement of our new king, everything finally ends.
I now settle the long-contested succession to the throne. They who hath gathered the most faith from their subjects amassed, they who have overcome this fierce contest, the throne's new sovereign, I now reveal. Behold, your new king of your kingdom united.
Oh, that's creepy. That's also creepy. I don't like the way it...
Look! It's him! Yeah!
Yay! Look, that's him, isn't it? He won!
He certainly did, love. He really did. Oh, I still can't believe it. That boy pulled it off. His Majesty, the new king.
I won't accept it! The new king is Camp Luis.
He can't just crown his son after all. That's cheating, that is. Rise up, people! Riot!
Disorderly conduct will not be permitted.
Settle down. The tournament is over. Our new king has been decided, and the royal capital falls under His Majesty's rule. Threaten it, and you shall face the wrath of the Crown Theocracy's warrior monks.
Bloody fantastic. They really did it.
Yeah, but what happened to everyone? The ship turned into the king archetype, and I'm gonna need a follow-up on that one.
Quietude descended once again upon the royal capital.
Never mind.
And the day of the new king's coronation arrived.
We just went to some days later. 11/5? That's like 10 days or something. I forgot what day it was.
Boy, the coronation really crept up on us. There's a lot of people in the crowd.
I hope I can do this.
Don't tell me you're nervous. After everything we survived already, stage fright should be nothing for you.
All the same, my heart's pounding out of my chest.
Is it? Nothing you're not used to then. It's just like with the archetypes. Just keep your head high.
It'll be fine. We'll keep the crowd warmed up for you.
Your newfound dignity suits you well, Your Highness. Ah, but I suppose you have outgrown that title. Your Majesty. Yes, that too suits you well.
I hope I can live up to that title.
By the way, saw some of them Senate fat cats hovering about, acting like they've been supporting us from the start, of course. Always on the winning side, eh?
Better than the alternative, no? Especially since we've got some Luis diehards among the people.
I hear that many are concerned about his proficiency with statecraft. To be honest, I'm not so sure myself.
And their concern is justified. It's not as though I swayed the entire kingdom to my idealistic views.
Juna will stand as moderator at the podium. His Majesty will only be asked for a few brief answers. First, the people would know how you aim to lead them. How will you respond to that, Your Majesty?
I'm not sure how I'll rule.
We have the power to change the world. All of us. I know I'm inexperienced, but I'll strive to do my utmost. With all of you at my side.
That's fine. The people have about had it with pompous monologues. Better to say what you mean with determination.
Still, there are a lot of people in the crowd who have never supported you. How are you going to respond to them?
I'll have to let my work prove my words. With results, I hope everyone can feel that our future will be brighter.
You went from a nobody to the top seat in the nation. No need to puff up and bluster anymore, what? You'll do fine.
A ruler must only stand tall. The rest is not done alone. We are with you.
Indeed. And we're no strangers to more practical work. Whatever our tasks, I'm sure we can handle them.
Well, it's time to make your first appearance as our king. Let us brace ourselves.
Good luck.
Thanks for always having my back.
Well, let's go. To His Majesty, the new king.
You forgot to say will. Please be a cutscene. Or did you... Oh, you skipped it. What? Oh, no, you didn't skip it.
All right, a warm welcome, please! His Majesty the new king!
Give me some new clothes.
Your Majesty, you're so young!
Please. My king, your subjects would hear how you intend to lead them.
Relax, okay? Take it easy and use your own words.
As a ruler, I've much to learn. I cannot say what I'll accomplish. And yet, I believe the world can change by our hand. And to that end, I will face any odds.
Now, Your Majesty, a few more words. Naturally, some under your rule now supported other people in the race. How do you respond to their voices?
There will be times I let you down. I know that. Only results can prove my intent. But still, even should you oppose your king, you can always believe in your own future. I will make sure of it!
A nation where dreams and fantasies are always in reach. Will surely be a challenge.
We'll make it happen.
There you go. If you can pull that off, you'll be the finest king we've known. Well then, this is it. Your attention, please.
No lord remains for you to kneel before. Please take the crown with your own hands, my king.
I don't know if I like the crown. It's a little too pointy, a little too long.
Long have I awaited the arrival of this day.
Are you talking to me? Is this happening again?
This journey has reached its end. He came to know the goodness of a hero's heart, and became the king his people had always hoped for. But as this journey ends, so another begins. I'd like you to watch over him on his path for a little longer yet. 1 year has passed since the arrival of the new king.
Oh. He's doing that fourth wall thing where he talks to me again. There's definitely more at the beginning as well. You're just walking around? No escort?
Hey, heard the news? They're finally reopening that mage academy that got closed down.
You don't say. The famous one deep in the Montario Mountains. Really? I'm impressed. It only took them a year.
They've even paved a proper mountain road. And get this, their headmistress is none other than Lady Juna.
What? The songstress?
Well, she is one of the king's 6 partisans.
Ooh.
If she managed to help save the world from Luis, I expect she knows a thing or two about magic. Sounds like they plan to fully open the magic researcher's findings to the people, too. Quite a turn from when the late Sanctifex banned it.
Makes sense to me. After the clash between His Majesty and Luis last year, everyone knows you don't really need an igniter to use magic.
And that's just today's news. It's surprise after surprise, ever since us church folk got the boot from the palace.
Hard to believe it's already been a full year. Only natural that people would be, there'd still be unrest among the people.
Even the Royal Knights. Their leadership was bound to the church more than anything, and now he's out on his ear too. And replaced by Sir Jaime Noctul, no less. You believe that? The Royal Knights, led by a Uchief of all things. Though he's one of the 6 partisans himself. When he speaks, everyone listens. No one's about to complain.
Even Parliament now invites citizen representatives to hearings. Strange to think we'd been deaf to the voice of the people until now. It's unbelievable, compared to the days of the autocrats. How swiftly the times change, eh?
Credit where it's due. I think it's thanks to His young Majesty. Remember last year's coronation? Unprecedented, that. Saw heroes of all different tribes celebrating the king's victory. Celebrating among the common folk, even. They tell me some of the younger aristocrats have taken to calling it the Great Reconciliation.
Does this area look more cleaned up? Or is that just me? Why does it look so... Like, did they put real tiles here and not make it look like a junk market? Or has it always been like this and I just didn't pay attention?
It really is a tragedy, what happened to his father, the king. But considering how his sons turned out, I hope he's at peace.
Indeed. Yet the real test is still to come. The first year has seen a lot of good, but we've still got our share of problems.
People are smiling more now, but smiles won't solve multitude of problems we still face.
Speaking of His Majesty, I've also heard some folks saying they've seen a boy wandering around these parts who looks just like him. You don't suppose?
Bah, can't be. Without his escorts? Besides, what business would a king have in this place?
Suppose you're right.
What? That's what I'm asking. You should at least have escorts.
Mountains upon mountains of appeals from the people. How many days will this take to sort?
After all the trouble you took to flee politics. And somehow you're now the preeminent ladyship of your house. Such is fate.
Despite everything, this year has passed in surprising peace, hasn't it? Honestly, with the royal scepter disappearing like that, I feared more dissent.
Perhaps after Luis, they swore they could never let that happen again. Either way, more and more are dealing with conflicts calmly and openly. Promising.
It promises that I'll have an eternally cluttered desk.
Here, Your Majesty. I've brought in the next load. And there we go. Not half bad, right?
Ow.
Hey! Isn't the king supposed to be here?
When did he? I've said countless times not to leave unannounced.
Oh, this decoration doesn't suit me. How'd Luis and Forden put up with all this damn finery? Your Majesty? Are you here?
Damn.
Juna's back from her inspection.
Apologies, Troll. I'll look for him now.
Wait! I'm coming with you!
Oh, good grief. Some things never change. Not that they should.
I'd say life has changed plenty for us. Yet somehow our captain's same as he ever was.
Everyone looks ridiculous. I kind of like how Stroll looks, though. And Yufa. They still kind of... that little hat on Heisme is kind of hilarious. Of course, he's at the honeybee.
Well, I might have got a bit too fresh with them stuck-up Sanctists. But those bloody church folk been looking down on us for years, you know? Still, it was other Sanctists what stepped in to keep things peaceable too. I reckon they're not all bad. Guess me cogs turning. They lost both their Sanctifex and the Saint Lady last year. Got their own struggles, I expect.
As authority weakens, power falls to the hands of those who have never wielded it. We must ensure it does not corrupt and give rise to new conflict.
Not like it excuses all of them or makes me want to go up and shake a Sanctor's hand, but you really put some perspective on it.
It was good talking to you, too.
You know what, lad? You're all right. You ever need some good, honest work? I'll get you squared, eh?
I'm glad to see more optimism in the world. Still, it will take more than that to effect true change. They'll just hire the king quick.
I should have known you'd be wandering around without your escorts again. How is it, being able to hear the city's honest thoughts? If you told them you're the king, it'd knock them sideways. Sorry you ended up coming all this way. Maria's actually out on an errand right now.
Then I suppose I'll wait until she comes back.
You sure? That girl always ends up on detours. No telling how long she'll be. Either way, let's keep your head down. You know what happens when you're too obvious about this. Sooner or later, the Lady Captain of the Royal Guard...
Oh, there you are! I knew we'd find you here, for crying out loud!
Phew. So you were here.
Speak of the devil.
Let us return, Your Majesty. And I thought I had informed you that Juna would be back from her expedition today.
I suppose I have no choice.
What is it? You have unfinished business. 'Tis settled. I shall come with you on every excursion.
Not dressed like that, you won't. You know how we like snooping around, inconspicuously.
Point taken.
He'll be fine. His Majesty is not about to fall prey to some alleyway scoundrel, surely. Right, Your Majesty. If you see Maria about, do slow down for a chat. She'll be shattered if she finds out she just missed you.
Fine. Now, Your Majesty, once your business here is finished, please make sure you return to the palace with all swiftness.
You're gonna let me walk around, because this is gonna be...
All right.
Yep. Yep. Maria, where are you? This reminds me of the first time Maria went missing. It seems so long ago. She might be praying in the Grand Cathedral just like back then. Before heading to the Grand Cathedral, why not talk to everyone else first? They're all in the royal capital to prepare for the new year, so let's find him.
All right, then.
Oh, shit. You're not gonna...
Where to?
Okay. That would be bad. Wait.
All right, then.
Oh, shit. Wait, there's follower things? Oh boy. Oh, we had a before the end follow-up and now an epilogue follow-up. Whoa, well, this is gonna go on.
Cheers.
No, if it isn't His Majesty in the flesh, visiting the Honeybee Inn again. Honeybee again. You're quite the whimsical one, aren't you? I doubt you still need someone to covertly sniff around in order to supply you with info, but I must say it was a pleasure doing business with you. I can understand why Alonso likes you so much. Damn, you're just giving me a full day of 1 year later? To think that the king of our country would sneak over to my tavern without so much as a single bodyguard with him. You never change, do you? But this city hasn't changed either. Sunshade Row isn't as safe as one might hope it would be under your rule. Still, why don't you pay Maria a visit before you head back to the palace? It'd definitely make her day.
What now?
Oh, I can't hit the archetype menu. I can still look at my archetype. No. But I wanted to see if he would be like, who are you still? I guess Moore's gone, so that wouldn't make sense. Hold. Oh, no different dialogue. That was the same dialogue. Okay. She's out. I have no idea where I can find her. I never did get permission to enter this room. No, you didn't.
Hey?
All right, well, I mean...
Come on!
How many times does this make that we've sneaked out of the palace? I've lost count. Let's make sure we see Maria before we head back, though, okay? You know, this is something I've been thinking about for a while, but doesn't it feel like we've kind of flipped? Flipped?
What?
I think.
Well, usually it's us fairies who go off on our own all the time, and people are always shaking their fists at us about it. Not you humans. Did you just call us a human? But here I am, struggling to keep up with the king of the whole damn country in one place for a few seconds. You catch my drift? Not that I'm complaining. I like that about you, to be honest. I appreciate you too, Gallica. You've been there for me so many times, I've lost count. Hey, why are you using the past tense? We've got our whole lives ahead of us, right? I remember how you would hit the streets to hear everyone's struggles during the tournament. I bet that's why you have to have the support you do in Montario, Tario, and Oceania.
Guess.
I don't mind getting dragged all over the place, but if you're gonna sneak out, all I ask is that you don't leave me behind, okay? I'll drop everything and tag along, no matter what. Promise me. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get going, Your Majesty.
Oh, hey!
Well, we're definitely going to talk to everyone. I need a minute here, but excuse me on this though. Was this just a was this just like they just wrote it off? They didn't really think about it. They're like, all right, well, you're just all humans, or is this part of the lore? In the past year, have they converted from calling people by their tribe name to like humanity? Is everyone considered human? And then the humans before that, the monstrous forms, are not human? Give them an actual name like monster? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. if I hear anyone else mention human. All right, I got my drink.
Come now.
I really would hope this is voiced, but when you finish your business outside the palace, please promise me you'll return to resume your duties, Your Majesty. If you take this as my pressuring you not to venture out, that's not it at all. Only that as the captain of the Royal Guard, I must know your whereabouts at all times. Relax. You don't need to be so serious, Alkenberg. Lighten up, maybe. She let you get attacked, and then the king died. Well, she wasn't around for that. It's understandable. What you mean to say I am too fussy? Well, 'tis only proper for the captain of the Royal Guard. To be over-familiar would set a poor example. Imagine the scandalized faces of the rank-and-file guard. And that said, not a day goes by that I don't reflect on our travels, now only a year past. I owe regaining my pride as a knight to that journey. It was but a wanderer searching in vain for the prince, and it was through you I learned how yet to live. And in the end, it was your ascent to the throne I supported.
So,
I never tire of the faces the younger guards make when I tell them of the time you acted as witness to my duel. Ah, Brodanth. Yes, thanks to you I was able to face him with eyes forward and put my past behind me. I'm pleased to say the knights of today are nothing like what they were under his command. Soldiers take up their sword not for those in power, but for the people, and as the champion of the people yourself, we will do all in our power to protect you, our king. You do not make it easy by sneaking out of the palace as you do, though I suspect the soldiers are getting used to your chaotic tendencies. They know they protect not just a king, but a ruler who stands beside his people and hears their voices in clarion truth. I will protect you with my life, as I have always endeavored to do, Your Majesty. Only let me stay by your side to do so.
What do you want to do?
There's still other people, but do you want to go see Maria now? They're like, all right, you have to talk to at least one follower. Oi, here's a mug I haven't forgotten. You're the king now, ain't you? First time I saw you was the night before the royal funeral, if I recall. No offense, but you didn't exactly look like a prince. To think you'd go on to take down the notorious Luis and seize the crown for yourself. I couldn't make up such a story if I tried. Speaking of wild stories, can't you do something about Sunshade Row? It's bothering you. Well, you know the rep of old Sunshade Row has. Poor, dirty, but the people still struggle to put food on the table here. Have been for a long time. You're a good bloke, and I think you'll make a fine king. But don't think you can just spruce up the place a bit, and that'll solve the problem. He doesn't mince words, but I'm glad he's being honest at least.
You're not serious.
The king? Nah, no way.
So, we meet again.
It's you. It's been quite some time, hasn't it? Ever since the new king's reign, matters have changed a great deal for the tribe's teachings. I feel there's been more people who wish to learn of our teachings and culture, much like you once did before. I wish I could say we were free to worship as we please, but that's a dream still among the clouds for the moment. And yet, being able to dream is evidence itself of progress. It isn't satisfying for now that more people are open-minded like you. Good. My foot is asleep. Oh, God.
It's just too much.
Oh, God. You lived in a giant sandworm to research bugs. It's Bug Guy. Yeah, quite right. And gold beetles from all over the kingdom as well. Insects are vital to understanding the essence of magic. And here I thought their only use was disgusting Martyrian cuisine. What a find. Say, what would you say to lending your wisdom to my shop? We can do business in the open now, thanks to the king. I am gratified by the offer. Another supports my research. Used to operate in secret, but since it's no longer condemned by the church, they can do business during the day. That is great news.
That's the way. Oi!
Corpses and the people crouching next to them along Sunshade Row seem to have cleared out lately. A frightful thing, really. They seem terrified of something themselves. Made me anxious just to look at them. I too hope they're feeling like themselves again. It'd be nice to think they'd found their happiness somewhere out there.
This is all right.
I still can't believe it. No matter how many times I see it, the king walking out of the honeybee. The city's pretty much back to how it was compared to this time last year. If Luis had ended up king, who knows where we'd be now. I hope it's not back to what it was. There's that whole tournament nonsense. Nobody could keep their mouths shut while that was going on. As far as a damn fool like me was concerned, the whole lot of you might as well have just been telling the truth. You and Luis were just two sides of the same coin. Take no offense, will ya? Not like I can tell a lie from the truth if I tried.
Ain't this a pickle?
There you are. I was worried we weren't going to get to talk to him again. That means everyone's going to be here. Oh, good. Basilio? New outfit? All right, tell me how you lived. Why, hello, your majesty. It's only been a year since your coronation, but I see you've become quite apt at sneaking away from your palatial duties. Under constant fire from knaves of all trades, con artists and critics alike, your opening act has been rather tumultuous, no? It's been tough. I'm glad we've managed so far. Quite right. Your critics are loud and open with their barbs, but plenty more have put their faith in you. Besides, most of those agitators are the kind of scum that stirs the pot in hopes they might benefit from the country's turmoil. Nothing I couldn't handle, of course, all in a day's work for the royal adjutant to the Citizens' Council. Ooh, quite an ally I've made, I should hope. I wonder if my mother would be the slightest bit proud to see who I've become, that I'm doing my damnedest to use my talents for good, as I always should have. I'm sure she would.
Yes.
And I hope so. I was such a problem child. I'd like to make this a country where honest folk like my mother can be happy.
Mention it.
Ah, that reminds me. Do you remember Dotterum, my hometown's landowner? He told me to send you his regards. He's since confessed his crimes and is awaiting trial. You were the one who awakened his conscience. It makes sense, doesn't it? You've proven your ideals to be true. That's why the country is doing so well. There's nothing more to it. I'm hardly qualified to speak out of pride, but if this country has you, it's you. And I'm proud to be among its people. Perhaps under your rule, the day will come that even we Nydia can walk about freely in our true forms. Now, you're curious what I look like in my true form. I'd be happy to oblige, but let's save that for another time, shall we? Oh, you! I want to, but it's not gonna happen. And also, you didn't say how you survived. I just want to know the exact details, down to the letter, of how you survived. But we're never gonna know. That was probably the last chance. I say that every time. Maybe this game goes on for another year. Well, I see our king's out on some personal business, eh? I believe Hulkenberg was searching for you, but I suppose it's none of my business who comes or goes. I'm on break myself. Only try not to frustrate your royal guards so much, Overmuch. They all take their duties quite seriously, much like their captain. Bah, who am I kidding? A knight whose smiles is surely a myth. That's become clear to me since becoming titled. What could be more bizarre? A Ujif outcast, once a wanted criminal with a bounty on his head, made knight commander. There was, of course, some opposition at first, but the more heart-to-heart talks I've had, the more accepting they've become, albeit gradually. An outcast became a king, too.
True.
Indeed, you've faced no shortage of persecution, and look at you now. Grand titles and posts across the nation are no different, spread across all the tribes. I've realized over the past year just how much a nation is defined by its people, no matter how great a king. He alone does not make a country.
However,
Yet he stands for those people as a symbol and representative. That the king and those around him are of mixed tribes, it has already caused a great shift in sentiment, even for those in the rural villages. How's Tadari?
Now that you mention it.
Yes.
He seems as busy as he can handle now that they've resumed trade with other villages. Your coronation inspired that village to greater heights. It proved that barriers can be broken, and even they could take the first step. New winds are blowing in every corner of this country. I'll have to make another trip back home with my son to see the changes for myself soon enough. And someday, I hope this distant generations will grow up only knowing conflict born of tribal differences from history books.
We shall.
We've a ways to go before that day comes, but until it does, let us forge the path towards it, Your Majesty.
Yo.
Hey, out inspecting again. Seems a right pain to me, but I appreciate you going to all the effort. Making your rounds?
Hey.
Yeah, captain of the Tradian Brigade, reporting in. The what? Grand Tradian Brigade. And I'm pleased to report that there's nothing to report, Your Majesty, so I'm taking a break. Oh, bit of a mouthful, innit? Still not used to calling myself a captain, besides. We've even taken in some survivors from Luis's troops, you know, but don't you worry. I've got 2 eyes on them even when I ain't looking. Way I see it, they weren't the only ones trying to make the world worse. I just gotta show them how power is supposed to be used, yeah? We owe it to you that there's less discrimination in the city these days. Fewer and fewer are turned into a life of crime to make ends meet. If Del could see Grand Trad today, his eyes would bug out. And not just Del, a lot of the guys who didn't make it. Think. I wish they could have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. But as long as we keep them in our memories, it's as close to saving them as we can get, Vinca included. We built this place with a lot of blood and tears. So I say those of us who made it this far owe it to all of them what didn't to protect it. Maybe I've got nothing to report today, but it's not like bad people just stopped being bad because you're king now. You've been through a lot, though, and so thanks for not giving up on us, or the world for that matter. You spot any trouble that I didn't spot first, you just point me at it. I'll solve it quick like. Oh. Your Majesty, what are you doing in this wretched sinkhole of a... It may be better than it was before, but it's still Sunshade Row. It's no place for a king, Your Majesty. Fewer folks are hanging for nothing these days, but there's still no shortage of knaves who will die at the end of a rope here. As long as there's injustice, there'll be people who think it gives them a free pass, which means there'll be gallows. Last year changed a lot, big and small. I'll hold my post here, hoping that next year's better than rather than worse.
Really changed.
Still hanging, huh?
Want to go back to the old kingdom?
I'm just incredulous.
Neither Luis nor Forden took the crown. It was an Elda of all people. I guess our bets are completely off the mark. Yeah, well, something stinks about it. Magic was at work, so who knows? And did you hear the rumor? They're saying those disgusting humans are our ancestors. Nothing but crazy stories since the new king took the throne. The king held it together this year, but who knows if he'll last another. I kind of figured people would kind of have that opinion as magic was at work, so a lot of people would just be like, I don't know if I can trust these results. I don't know if enough people believed, but that's fair. Also, that kind of a little more proves that they're calling people humans. Maybe. Clearly everyone knows that they were humans. Whoa, Alda, you really became king. King, hey king, oh king. Okay. You might be king, but that'll change nothing. You'll forget about me, you'll forget I was even here. I've talked to you for an entire half a year. I'll help all who need it. Help, you say? You've been saying that a lot, haven't you? I've been watching you for a while, for a long time, here in the corner of the city. I hate people who look and see a parapet like me with no place to go and pretend they see nothing. Don't forget that. Well, I haven't been given an option to give you money, but I've tried. Your Majesty. Why, Your Majesty? Surely your kingliness has no further need of my paltry sums for your mag. Besides, I hear the Major Academy's been restored. Is it true that anyone of any status can attend? Original magic? You trying to end reliance on igniters? Only a matter of time till accumulators like these are obsolete then. I think that's great personally. It's about time, probably about time to shut this operation down anyway. Not that I expect the Igniter Consortium would let it go without a fight. Lycoan would stand with you, of course, but they're not infallible either.
All very nice.
Seems the rumors of the king running around about the Sunshade Row were true. I've no intention of prying now. Thanks to you besting Luis, I get to keep running my shop. Wasn't sure I could with the sky turning red there. Not sure we could take another war. It won't happen. It's reassuring to hear that from the king himself. Still, nothing goes quite the way you expect, eh? As long as people worry, people will want weapons. So I guess I'll be in business a good while longer. I mean, you need weapons to fend off from, like, monster attacks.
Well.
Oh, your majesty. Running around Sunshade Row at this time of year, you must have some very particular tastes. Perhaps you've heard there's unrest across the country as the oppressed are rising up in revolt against their oppressors.
Yes.
Or perhaps that news hadn't reached your walled garden here in Grand Trad. History books may not be kind to this era. Shouldn't... You mean me, right? Goodness, you truly are dense. Don't you realize how your dangerous ideology has become the spark of new threats? The dim-witted of the world only fan the flames with their anxiety. Be it people or monsters, to be dissatisfied is in our nature. I see you're about as... He hasn't changed.
Welcome.
My, if it isn't His Majesty, you were always partial to Sunshade Row, weren't you? I know you've hardly had a chance to warm that throne of yours, but the people here are as poor as they've ever been. Money's the only way anyone gets out. It was big news that the Mage Academy reopened to anyone, but think about it, only the rich can travel up to a mountain. Sorry, I shouldn't talk your ear off about politics. There's a new year to ring in. Looking forward to a more relaxing new year without all the frantic work. Have a happy new year yourself, Your Majesty. That is a good point. Maybe Will needs to get some people sent up there. Lacombe? Who are you?
Kidding?
Oh, on the Caradrius. Oi, been a while now. You must remember me. Oh, I'm Sergeant Lacombe, the Great. The drunk one. You're drunk as usual? Well, you see, that's the thing. End of the year is a perfect time for a flagon, eh? Then again, every day's a perfect time for a flagon. But you know, I've been trying to cut back, actually. When we lost Fidelio, God rest his soul, drink was the only thing that kept me from going mad. Certainly couldn't follow Luis after that, so leaving the Caradrius was sound. But it's still hard for a parapet to find decent work. Drinking my life away seemed the way to go. I assumed all of us from Luis's side who survived would have been sent straight to the gallows, but letting us join the brigade, well, real generous of you. Oh. So Basilio's in charge of... He's in charge of, like, the knights from the remnants of Luis's thing. Not sure I would have fit in anywhere else, speaking plainly. Plus, with old Basilio in charge, we are feeling right at home. Now I'm back to drinking for the fun of it, and I owe it all to you, Your Majesty. You're all right.
Oi there!
Excuse me?
Under the current king, people are finally starting to question the discrimination against the inferior tribes. But a tribal friction is deeply rooted in society, so we've got our work cut out for us.
Oh, but which action
Hey,
to undertake?
Your Majesty, listen to this. We just had a guest in the store claiming to be the chief of Ria. He said he wanted ingredients for a withering potion they use on the island. And, how should I put this? That Mustari village chief, he's rather, easy on the eyes, wouldn't you say? Wait, sorry, I forget about that. I swear I had a point. I wanted to tell you that all sorts of people come visit now, and I enjoy doing business more now than I ever did before. Well, that's good.
It's just too much.
Everything's back to normal, except the one thing that mattered. Luis ensured my husband would never come home again. But I'm grateful for you. You stayed by my side and gave me the courage during my darkest hour. Oh, don't say that. You always cheered me up with your gossip and funny stories you told. If you're not opposed, I'd like to live on with you. If I think together, we can deal with whatever comes our way. Yes, you're right. Together we'll make it through, and I'll need your support. Damn. Kind of surprised they got turned around there. Okay, I don't... Before we go there, because I know that's where the cathedral is, I'm going to go back to San Lumio. All right. What the? Actual children just having fun. It's a rare occurrence in this universe. Hello there, Your Majesty the King. I still remember that night in the city when I first laid eyes on you, the evening of the royal funeral. It was the first time I'd ever seen someone from the Elda tribe, and I immediately knew there was something special about you. And I'd say I was right on the money. You were, and you kind of encouraged us a lot. Plateau! Hold on. Wait. That doesn't make sense. You. I'm more excited than anyone to hear what she has to say. And Elta, wait, aren't you His Majesty the King? Why would you be in a place like this? I can't be here.
Come off it.
Obviously not. You mock me, Your Majesty. I thought we'd see less of that kind of stuff, but I guess we couldn't expect prejudice against the Elda to disappear overnight. She never changed. No character development was had. Oh, poor lady.
Wait a sec.
Isn't that the cat from Academia? If that place was made of magic, how was it here in real life? To say nothing of how he could have survived in a deserted ruin buried in the snow. That shouldn't be possible, right? I just think he's cute.
That's a good kitty.
It doesn't bother you at all? You sure are something else. Memory serves, the last king did build himself a study in the Mage Academy. Do you think Academia was styled after that, maybe? I wonder what His Majesty, what more, felt when he put this little guy in Academia. The cat tends to himself quietly, utterly impartial to us. Oh, that's it?
My king.
Why the hat? It's so big. Oh, there you are, Will. I heard you were in town, so I decided to see if we might cross paths. I have to tell you so much about my inspection, but so I'm afraid you'll need to clear your diary for me soon. Bring any souvenirs.
Gosh.
Let's just focus on the report. Don't worry, I'll give you just the gist. Firstly, the Mage Academy's reconstruction is going swimmingly. Repairs are in full swing and we're already processing admissions. I must say, I'm still surprised you'd appointed me, of all people, to be the Academy's headmistress. I was rather looking forward to going back on tour as a songstress. Oh, and shall I introduce you to my furry little friend? I scooped him up in the Academy of all places. Oh, I should have talked to her first. During the reconstruction, they stumbled on the little guy in some kind of observatory, supposedly used by the king long ago. Oh. Considering the igniter around his neck, I'm sure he was being taken care of. I mean, there's no way a cat could survive alone in that cold, could he? Regardless, our mysterious little kitty is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the Academy. All that knowledge was lost when it fell, so we're starting from scratch. It may even be hiding secrets as big as the Dragon Temple or Sanctum. Oh, and I'm keeping the cat. It feels like fate, you know.
Speaking of which...
Oh, and speaking of fate, I'm on my way back. I met up with Murtis. Who's that again? She's well?
Now we're talking?
Yeah.
More than well. Her throat has been fine, and she's a fairly prominent singer about town now. We both just keep soaring to new heights. Her in music and me coming face to face with magic again.
Hey.
Surely you remember, music was the first magic born in this world, yeah? When the heart expresses itself through music, it moves the hearts of others, and when they make a heart swell, why, there's no end to the magic. So just you watch, with music and magic at my side, I'm gonna change the world. All will have equal opportunity to hone their talents at the Mage Academy. Our doors are open to all. That's why my sister would have wanted, and if it makes the world a better place, why, isn't that just grand?
Magic.
Rella taught me that magic is more than a tool. It's in all of us, deep in our hearts. Yeah. So you found a cat. You found Plateau in a study that probably resembled academia in the Mage Academy. But the cat is real. Brain. I'm missing 4%. What? Will the First. The young king who earned the people's trust and ascended the throne after meeting the lofty requirements of the magic set in place by the previous king, Hythlodaeus V. Though oddly enough the rightful heir to the crown, he values having become king by the people's will and not lineage. He was not coronated as the 6th, and choosing instead to start a new era of kings as Will the First. Ooh. What if I made my name Hythlodaeus? Because obviously I chose the name Will. Once a fond reader of his father's fantasy novel that he convinced him that the country depicted therein was a utopia, Will eventually eschewed the past and its lost glories and chose to embark instead on a path of a better king. Having achieved uniting the people in the kingdom's recovery from turmoil only a year after his coronation, his true worth as a leader will be put to the test as he moves into the 2nd year of his reign. Euchronia is a united kingdom, a place where people of all different lands and cultures live together. In order to be a king whose face is known to them, it may be a time for him to set out once again as a traveler, a book that would tell his own story, clutched in hand. I don't know if that's enough to make a game out of, though. That sounds interesting enough that you could make a game out of it, but I don't know. There'd have to be more to it. Luis's mysterious origins are revealed. He is surprisingly of Elda origin, born in the Elda's sanctum. After experiencing the arson attack on the sanctum and having faced the overwhelming absurdity of it, he became radicalized, finding disappointment in all other avenues that did not amount to conquering through sheer force. Yeah. Mysterious voice, guiding Will upon awakening in the power of the archetypes until his eventual revival as the prince. The voice belongs to the late queen of the Elda tribe, who used magic to transfer her soul into Gallica. On the day of the ancient Elden sanctum was set ablaze. In other words, Will's mother. Was that actually Gallica's voice then? It sounded a lot like Gallica, but not like she was trying to sound much deeper voiced. So her soul was just in Gallica? Huh. Or is. Was or is. Are we walking around with Mom? I mean, technically we kind of are. King's 6 Partisans, a moniker for the allies that accompanied Will on his journey, comprised of Stroll, Hulkenberg, Heisme, Juna, Yufa, and Basilio. After Will's ascension to the throne, the collective title gradually came into use, though none seemed to be sure whether it originated from the crown itself or from the people. It refers to their continued support of the prince, which even after he sustained a blast of dark magic during the duel with Luis and Grand Trad and needed to flee, remained unwavering. Their peerless faith was further demonstrated when the prince returned again to Grand Trad and defeated Luis. The fervent strength of their relationship, though each hailed from different tribes, can be seen as a symbol of hope by all in the kingdom. Damn, what are the last 4%? I wondered how things were going to end for a while there, but things seem quite under control now. I'm glad the threatening madman didn't end up king. Still, an upstart from a forgotten tribe has no business slighting the established notability. A king with nothing but flowery speeches and ideals will hit a wall before long. No different from the last king, really. Yeah, you could be onto something. We can't slack off on guarding the Magla accumulator just because the country's at peace. Rather, that's precisely why we can't. Even if even mag like this can be abused, we could have another riot on our hands. Powers that shake the world will breed new ambition. Hard to be optimistic about this new regime.
This?
Weird that she had that dialogue. That's like the same dialogue the whole game.
Oi!
Behold, you lot, we're here, the heart of the country, Grand Trat. Wow, I bet even Parapus could find work here. Suppose it's true what they say, change the king, the country changes too. Don't get too carried away now. Still plenty of folks who'll spit on the ground you walk. Got high hopes for next year, though. I don't know if Will can change people that much. Enelda, the king's tribe. Won't catch anyone bad-mouthing them now. Not openly, anyway. What do you think of the current king? In my opinion, he's a victim of the last one. If you think about it, he used royal magic to put a whole kingdom in chaos, and that's what caused Luis's rebellion in the first place. Who's the real root of all evil here? I lost a good number of friends to it all. Couldn't bring myself to mourn the death of the last king. Still can't. That is fair.
Hang on.
I said we could look around, but not outside. Off the table. Thanks, Mom.
Oi!
There's another guy probably in the brigade from Luis's thing. You moron, can't you see I'm busy? Oh, it's you, Your Majesty. You remember me, do you? Refresh my memory. I remember him, but... Huh, a young king with a bad memory, I see. How could you forget Seba, former maintenance chief of Luis's Gauntlet Runner? I was just examining Your Majesty's Gauntlet Runner as part of my research duties. I recall how astonished I was to see her take to the sky the first time. I wanted to get back to my engineer roots, but then Luis started showing his true colors and the Caradrius went down. I gotta say, Your Majesty, you're too soft. We used to be enemies, but you recommended us for the brigade and gave us work anyway. Pretty genius making old Basilio captain, too. Luis's old crew would fall in line, like wooden soldiers, though I'm not sure that kind of leniency forges nations. So off with you, huh? Can't imagine you could afford to waste time on relics like me. Be well, Your Majesty. Thank you. Oh. Your Majesty, do you have something you need with the Gauntlet Runner? All's well here. If I'm not overstepping, might I tell you something I've always wanted to say? Do you remember a long time ago when Luis dropped that human on the city? I was actually assigned to duty at the Grand Cathedral that day. The state army was in complete disarray and us soldiers were absolutely terrified. But it was the rumors about you that kept us afloat during those dark times, Your Majesty. You couldn't go a day without hearing someone insult the lesser tribes. And here comes this group led by some Elda, fighting through the capital with no regard for their lives. If you'd only known how much the tales of your heroism and courage gave to the guards that day. I couldn't thank you then, so please allow me to do so now. You truly are a hero king, Your Majesty. Thank you. Nope. I wanted to talk to Lena. Makes me nostalgic now, thinking about the strategy meetings we once had. Cockpit, which was mangled wreck after the fight against Luis, has been completely restored. How did Nurse survive? Do you think that he put it on some sort of autopilot at the last second and just jumped to the back? Because he told us to get in the back to survive. In the last battle, when we rushed to the Caradrius, the Gauntlet Runner was a great help. I don't know how he lived. During our travels, Nurse used to cry out enemy attack through the runner phone, waking everyone in a panic.
All right.
Sure, we're going to the bathroom.
Right.
I feel refreshed. Maybe not now. You don't want to take a shower, though? Don't tell me I'm getting food. Warehouse is neat and tidy. I didn't find anything. Okay. Anything over here? Did our best on our journey to make the most out of the few ingredients we had, ensuring nothing was wasted. Traveling made me realize that most things can be eaten if you cook them long enough. I learned a good deal about how to control the heat, too. Still dishes here, perhaps from Nurse's last meal. Oh, like previous. His most recent meal, not last meal. Anything else in here? Maybe not now. Oh. Oh, did I plant some hero fruit? Maybe not now. Come on, you got any more nostalgia dialogue? It's a small bet. I don't need to sleep. That's it? I'm sure Nurus is in here somewhere. His pioneering spirit looks to be alive and well. I can just imagine him inventing something, a twinkle in his eye. Found something I knew every time I did laundry, which is probably a good experience. Some additions to the journal appear to have been made over the past year. I've been decrypting the second half of the old man's notes in my spare time. Recently, the villagers asked me to bake some sweets with a few ingredients we have. Cooking and inventing shares a number of similarities. I've quite enjoyed it. As the villagers goaded me on more and more, I inadvertently compiled an amount of recipes I dare say would put the palace chef to shame. Rather than inventing dangerous tools of war, perhaps peacefully devising new and delicious confection recipes is the highest form of invention. The rest of the notes are full of detailed recipes for baked sweets. So is that what became of that guy? Changed completely? And Nurus has been improved, says it's been improved beyond compare, but it looks the same. It's possible this igniter was prepared for me so I could learn about this country. That igniter turned this ship and you into the king archetype. How? How did that happen? Also, how do you get off this ship? Oh. Oh, Nurse is right there. Hiya, boss. Oh, dang. I suppose I shouldn't be speaking to you so casually, huh? Then again, we were rivals, weren't we? And Caden Workshop's the official workplace of the Palace Engineers now. Not that it's here nor there. Besides, I'm glad you got the crown. Still lots of humans out there that you'll have to deal with, and you'll need a gauntlet runner to get to him. Caden Workshop thanks you for your patronage. Thank you.
Amazing.
Oh, what brings His Majesty here? Come to feel the wind on your face too, have you? I know how it is. I've the fancy old title of Chief Engineer of the Kingdom Infrastructure Development Bureau, and I can research as I please now, but something's missing. And so I threw off that stuffy old uniform and came to gaze upon the runner in the way I do. Take your job seriously? No, don't be a hypocrite. I know how you feel when you say something's missing. I knew you'd agree. I think my bones are aching to feel the wind. I rather miss the days of dashing hither and thither in the runner. Not that I'm ungrateful for the gracious title you've given to a man who used to skulk about, modifying gauntlet runners. You haven't seen anything yet. Why, one day I'll invent a teleportation device that'll deliver fresh fish straight from Oceania to your palatial plates. That'd be interesting. It would change the world, wouldn't you say? I'm just a bit stuck at the beginning on the development.
Indeed.
And in times like this, I need a stimulation of the mind. Do you have anything that might do the trick? Do I smell another relic hunt? Don't pretend you didn't enjoy it. Every time you'd pop back in with one, I remember how I could hardly contain my excitement. I do so miss traveling like that. Even if the relics themselves were better off left untouched, they've become the guiding principles of my research, you know. Convenience is important, but one must consider safety and the effects it might have on the world. An engineer who dumps a burden on future generations is no engineer at all.
However,
still, it's no small feat to design with a perfect balance of safe and revolutionary. Even I struggle with it, and I'm a bally genius. Nah, I knew it. What I need is stimulation, Your Majesty. You know, like a soul-shaking speed and quiver of a drive engine. You'll let me know if you ever want to go out for a spin, won't you? Our dear old girl's sparkling clean and always ready for takeoff.
Just sublime.
So they're all missing the adventure days. A little bit. Why, if it isn't... You're the young man with the fairy in tow I used to see around here, aren't you? Yes. Now that I mention it, I do recall people saying the new king had a fairy in his retinue. I can't believe it. Weren't you the guy that was supposed to tell me the story about fairies? Now, who's this? His Royal Majesty the King? What's brought you to my little dive? Come to think of it, I said some rude things to you last year. Told you to keep your elder head down. No hard feelings. You didn't. You were pretty nice about it. Tribal quarrels haven't quieted down here at all. Might even be worse now that everyone's equal in the eyes of the law. But sometimes fists just need to fly. It's not like it was back when the sky was red as blood and death was everywhere. In fact, it's amusing to see new faces around here. It's a good change, I think. That's good. Used to meet this old Clemar here. He died about a year ago in the riots. He was so full of himself, always telling me that I was wrong. But you know what? Most other Clemar wouldn't even have bothered speaking to with a parapet like me. That man actually treated me like a person. He was a gruff, mean bastard, no question about that. But he wasn't as bad a bad person by any means. Me, I suppose I was fond of him. Yeah, I liked our little conversations. Now that he's gone, I miss him. No.
Hello.
You're still not in jail? Ah, is that your majesty? What fortune to bump into you in the end of the year like this. If there's anything my humble personage may be able to do for you, your radiance, I'm at your service. Say but one glorious word, and I shall most happily... Okay, laying it on a little thick, aren't we? It's that forked tongue that got you into trouble last time. You hear me? One wrong move, and I'm turning you over to Basilio. You've got to turn your life around. Of course.
The prince has become magnificent indeed. Aha!
Oh. Why, hello there, your majesty. As laid back as ever, I see. I myself have been crying like a baby, for I find my position as chairman of parliament quite an unfamiliar one. Still, I've considered these open to all parliamentary meetings. You've considered them? Oh, you've considered them open to all. I thought that was the title of it. Compiling all those opinions is indeed hard work, but work well worth doing. It won't be easy for those who were at the church's beck and call to change, but I think they've been starting to see what they turned a blind eye to, at least a bit, no? A person who speaks the real truth to the public without yielding to authority. That's what my father and I wished for, a true and proper town crier. This country's turned over a new leaf, but there are still many problems to work out. It seems the rural regions are still suffering from human havoc. All I'm saying is that we're a long way from utopia. But still, the first step is as important as the last, and we're taking big ones. Okay?
Closure,
Just recently, a sanctor in Brylehaven was brought to judgment. His crime? Using parapet subjects for atrocious igniter experiments. The church reaffirms its dedication to cracking down on inhumane acts such as these. Ooh! The church is cracking down?
Wonderful.
On themselves? Wow, the church is actually owning up to its scandals. The town criers around here sure have changed. Nah, they're just trying to put on a good show for the new king. Doing things like they always would have, only send him spiraling further. But yeah, still.
Hey.
Hello there, your majesty. It's great to see that you're doing well as ever. I've just left a meeting with the provincial lords. I also preach the Mustari teachings in various areas when the opportunity arises. Many still push back against the teachings, but that's perfectly fine. The country is well served by different perspectives. Many of the villages have come around to this too, you know. I think that's because you all faced such danger on our behalf. Still, it won't be easy to change the entirety of Uchronia. Its history is embedded deep in its roots. The country is larger, and some people will need all the power you have. The true test of your values has only just begun. Let's talk to her first. Working hard as ever, Will. Were you going about town and listening to what people have to say? Myself, I just I've just come from the Crown Court, where I've been consulting with the people about their grievances and disputes as Chief Magistrate. Our court has time for that?
Yes, of course.
In the past, we were busy with cases of violence and theft, but those have decreased remarkably. As you're undoubtedly aware, in the past, many citizens were sentenced to hang without so much as a trial.
Yes.
I'm pleased to report things are different now. Anyone, regardless of race or status, can tell their side of the story in court and be judged equally and fairly. It just goes to show anything is possible, even for a priestess to become a chief magistrate. My brother is making great strides as village chief. He rather hated the role before, but he's truly found his calling, I think.
The reason is...
As I said, no one knows what the future holds. It's all the more reason I try to guide people to good choices. I want to live in a society that practices kindness, where those who suffer need not turn to crime. And so I practice what I preach. The other day I went to visit Ovi's church to inquire with those who are sick about the kingdom, how the kingdom can be more accessible to them. How's Ovi?
Very well.
Yeah, is he doing well? Yes, we practiced dancing together and then we showed her mother. All of them are ready to ease into working again. Hearing them made me reflect on all the people who still need our help. Until now, the only hope those people had was God. I want to fight for them and to have options under laws and systems that they can rely on in addition to higher power. A country where all the tribes with all their values can join hands in harmony. That's what we need. You aim to achieve that too, yes, Your Majesty. I hope you'll allow me to keep walking alongside you in this.
Can't keep you, child.
We're good. Huh. Are you surveying the city incognito, Your Majesty? Your escort would be aghast. Not that I think anyone is truly capable of harming you. As you are aware, faith in the Sanctus Church plummeted after our misdeeds were exposed. I admit, we were arrogant and unjust, wicked in custom. But people have found salvation through the Church as well. I intend to restore the Sanctus Church to its true purpose, to offer salvation to those in need. As Sanctarch? How would you say that? Shark? Sanctarch, I'm guessing. Yeah, and as someone who was saved by the Sanctus faith myself, that is all I can do to return the favor. Okay. I'm glad to see he's changed a bit.
What am I to do?
This is not the conclusion we wished for. Not now that we've lost our leader in the church, what's to become of our lifestyle? Grin and bear it for now. The king's as much a dreamer as the last. He'll be crushed under the weight of his lofty ideals soon enough. I'm sure of it.
Wonderful.
How about a fortune?
Oh my, has His Majesty come to have his fortune told? Oh, I jest, of course. I believe you've become acquainted with the chief of Atreya. I was able to speak with him just for a moment. He's truly an outstanding figure in both ability and insight. As a fortune teller, I still have much to learn. Yeah, he's got to mess with you a little bit. You know, he changes the sky after you give someone the weather. That's got to be rough. All right, hold on. Okay. After all that fuss across the kingdom, the one who ended up on the throne was the blood heir after all. Oh, the irony. He had the strength to take down Luis, I'll give him that, but in the end, I guess blood's all that ever matters. He was the only viable choice of the lot. Who knows if he'll be a decent king? Suppose that all depends on what he does next.
Oi there!
Hey, Mr. Driver, how long till we depart? I'm bloody eager to get a move on. First Oceania, then Montario. My cross-country trip starts now. A new chapter in my life.
If I may.
Not to ruin your fun, but this carriage doesn't go that far. You know that, right? Cross-country strip. Oh, it's Loveless. All right, hold on. I'm relieved that the royal palace has returned to its original location. Even now, there's people who can hardly believe that it was flying about, making its way around the entire kingdom. But I saw it with my own eyes. I witnessed the moment the red light in the king's eyes vanished, and the palace returned to the gouged-out land that it was pulled from. Really? I wish I could see where that is. It's probably back behind the clouds there. Can we? Oh, viewing platform. Remember how overwhelming Grand Chad felt when we first got here? Is it just me, or does it feel even bigger now? Even the Grand Cathedral, it always felt so imposing, but now it's kind of grown on me. Yeah, this game certainly grew on me after 170 hours. And traveling with Lady Juna sure was fun. Blah, Your Majesty. What business do you have with a former helmsman like me? What about Juna now? I had the honor of attending to her during the expedition. Actually, I think she's on her way to the palace in order to meet with you. You didn't hear from Chief Magnus? Lady Juna was off inspecting the Mage Academy, and I was the flight helmsman. It knocked me off my arse when Lady Juna left Louise's company, you know. I left right after she did. Anyway, still undecided about you being king and all that, but I do appreciate you taking me in, so I'm going to work to repay that favor.
Control, yeah?
And on that note, about time I got back to work. Oh, and don't tell the chief I was shooting the breeze here, eh, Your Majesty?
Ain't this a pickle?
Hey!
What's the word, Your Majesty? Just one question, if I may. When are you going to lower the booze prices in the country? I'm only codding you. I haven't felt much like drinking until I black out so often anymore. After I entered the tournament, I really went through some stuff. I was acting a fool on the world stage, and to you, too. I'm grateful, you know. Can't speak for the rest of the country, but you've done right by us Parapus. We got it better than we ever did. Some chuckleheads out there still trying to take their aggression out on us, but they're just venting, probably. I'm sure you'll do something soon enough. The king himself out browsing the shops. Perhaps I need to draft up a royal certificate of appointment. And tell the world we supply goods to the royal family. Any recommendations? One igniter in particular, in fact, though I'm afraid we're all sold out at the moment. The igniter I made at the children's request, the one that lights up with rainbow colors, is selling startlingly well. The store was packed with families and children. I now hold a position where I can control the distribution of all manner of goods throughout the kingdom, as the head of the Igniter Consortium. I can't help but think that if I'd been in this position sooner, then the church's violence, the tragedy of that village could have been prevented. Let's focus on the present.
Yes.
Indeed. I can dwell on the past all I like, but it won't change it. The future, on the other hand. I took up this post after I was nominated by my colleagues. In other words, I suppose that means people have expectations of me and that I, too, am a spoke in the wheel of change. Our new king has changed this country for the better. However, as a former arms dealer, it would be naive to think that all weapons can ever disappear from this world. It's all the more reason I hope that reasons for people to wield them continue to decline. To that end, I'll continue doing all that I possibly can, with all that I am, just as you do. Ah yes, do you remember my dog? Huh? I found the ones who took her. Naturally, I considered ending their lives. But there she was, sitting beside them. Huh? Evidently, they could not bring themselves to harm such a sweet creature, so they decided to keep her instead. Okay. Good. I was going to be very angry Actually, I was very angry when they left it out by the end of her 8th rank. I was like, what the hell happened to the dog? Did they really kill it? I had no choice but to spare their lives. I couldn't subject a gentle dog to the atrocities I'd commit in her name. You should come play with her sometime. I'm sure she remembers you. Oh. Your Majesty, it's been some time since you've graced us with your presence. What style of igniter might I help you with this time? I jest. I know that's not why you're here. As you can see, it's thanks to you that the Lycoan Magic Association has been able to continue its business. Our king has shown us what magic ought to be. Humans and other threats still stalk the land, so igniters and their power have remained an indispensable asset in maintaining the country. All this talk of original magic that doesn't rely on igniters, it's going to take some time to make it viable. We'll continue to produce igniters with pride, helping to bridge this era with the next. Oh boy. One more area. This has been a lot of reading. I'm so surprised you don't at least voice the followers here, but like every Persona game, there will be a Metaphor ReFantazio X come out in 3 years, where they're just going to add voice lines in all the spots they didn't. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Right.
These were definitely meant to be voiced. Well, if it isn't your Majesty, it's been a year since you've ascended the throne, and a quick one at that. It feels like this strife with Luis was but a bad dream. Had you asked me then, I would have been wringing my hands about one so young leading the kingdom, but now I'm embarrassed to have thought it. You had a keen eye to recognize the danger Luis posed, and are braver still to have fought him. You have had a kingly caliber I never truly possessed. Still, a single year is but a drop in the proverbial bucket. Stay vigilant, King. He had a lot of character development. Oh, Your Majesty, it's been quite some time since we met, but I never forgot you. You were the young Elda about town. From the recruitment center to the mausoleum, I watched from the shadows. Still, there are still times when people hurl abuse on me for being Mustari. However, thanks to Your Majesty, I can run my business with pride. Just goes to show that it's going to take time to eliminate prejudice like that. We've got to keep at it.
My oh my.
I forgot. They just kind of double up in that corner for some reason. Ah, Your Majesty, it's an honor to meet you on this most auspicious time of year. I know I was quite devoted to Luis at one point, and his power was both overwhelming and alluring. Where do you stand now? I'm disgusted by my shallowness, if I'm honest. It's hardly an atonement, but I'll at least try to be straight with you from now on. Not to try to bring down the mood, but I wanted to mention, I sense something familiar about your supporters among them. I recognize it because I'm the same way. In their eyes, you're a hero who conquered the monstrous Luis. They entrusted you with authority because of your power and their desire to be at peace. Let us assume that the people have expectations not of your ideology, but solely of your power. King or not, failing to see the difference may invite consequences. Please take it from someone who erred in his ways. The people of this country have not recovered from the unrest, and when they do, the people are dangerous.
Hey, mister!
Even though Luis died, my dad still isn't happy. It's because my mom died and she can't come back. But you know, Mr. King, I've been cooking instead of my mom, and I'm trying really hard. I'm happy to be with my dad, so next year I'm gonna work harder than ever. My mom is watching me from the sky, isn't she? Just like your dad, Mr. King. He's overcome his grief. I get shivers and hearing stories from the castle when the castle was floating in the sky. The place was teeming with crystals and monsters, and 'twas no place for man to enter. No, sir. I heard that when the palace came back down, all the monsters had been dried out like they were statues made of dirt. Rebuilding the place went faster than expected, and I heard they recouped some costs by selling the furnishings inside. Seems like a miracle, doesn't it? Huh.
Young man.
What? Oh, this is the first guy you fight in the Caradrius. You're the bastard who... Well, it's been a while. Anyway. Who are you? Bah, how could you forget who I am? Not that I mind if everyone had forgot I lost against you. I was once known as Sergeant Xanth. Though I suppose that title carries little weight nowadays. After losing to you, my own men turned on me and threw me into the Oceania Sea. Awful as all that was, looking back, those events saved my life. I've heard that all of those who went with Louise to the royal palace in the sky never returned.
I'm left with no choice.
They all turned. A world where power is everything. I suppose that would be hell after all. Never thought you would ever inspire me to realize anything. Yet here we are. Now I'm spending my days doing charity work as a member of the brigade under Chief Magnus, but I'll never give up on making my way up in the world of my own merits. Matter of fact, I was invited to participate in the Colosseum's games in Brylehaven. While working with the brigade, I helped a nobleman who put in a recommendation for me. It's a brave new world, isn't it? Give me a year and I'll make sure people know the name Xanth as the fighter that electrifies the audience. I don't believe in you. I'm sorry. Wait, why is that lady not updated? She's just gone. No way you're still crying in fear here. It's a year. A year later? Are those things really all right now? Am I alive after all that's happened? Yes, you are. It's been a year. We came out of it okay. We've both been through a lot of terrible things, but we will overcome them one by one. Yes. That is a dedicated wife. She is still helping him after a year of him running out to the same spot and crying. Excuse me, are you an Elda? Or please don't take that the wrong way, I'm just curious. Those three are Elda too, aren't they? I wonder if perhaps you knew them or something. All Elda know each other, clearly. Oh, I knew it. I mean, I know the king is Elda, but isn't it strange that you never see others in town? That was sarcasm, ma'am. I saw that group gazing at the Grand Cathedral and I thought, oh, maybe it's their first time in the city. Isn't that incredible? That elderly lady in the middle is floating, for heaven's sake. Is it some sort of igniter? Couldn't be. Then how? Oh, and the other woman's clothes are so beautiful. It goes without saying, but you can't find clothes like that in Grand Trad, can you?
What should I do?
There's something just so incredibly charming about them. Do you think I should try talking to them?
Oh, there!
Where the hell are they?
Wonderful, isn't it?
Oh, right there. Russell, you're here. Oh, Gallica, and your highness as well. But that's no longer your title, is it? Excuse my impertinence, your majesty. Still, knowing that the New Year's celebrations were just around the corner, I couldn't resist returning to the capital to see how the kingdom is faring. Has it been kind to you? Indeed. I need only look upon the smiling faces to see that. The city feels alive again, and it seems as though citizens are free to choose their own paths. I must say, I never imagined that I'd return here without all the cloak and shadow. I owe a great deal to the work of Lady Juno. To think I'd be able to see Grand Trad, with His Highness sitting openly upon the throne. Alsace, are you seeing this as well?
Yep.
Got a long way to go, but I know Grius will be watching. I should tell you, a sizable number of the villagers in the sanctum have gained an interest in the outside world. I've been acting as a sort of bridge. Their bridge. It seems this doddering old fool has found a new role, to find the middle ground for both those who wish to preserve tradition and those who seek innovation. Yep. I couldn't think of a better man for the job, Russell. I'm sure you'll be a great help to the village. I fought so long to save this country, but seeing all these smiling faces now, I think perhaps I'm the one being saved. This is a country that protects the people, and the people shape the country in turn. Surely that's the world His late Majesty wished to see. Not to simply chase the ideals of a utopia, but to shape it with our own hands. We've come a long way. We've a long way to go, but I trust you'll continue to make this country stronger, Your Majesty.
Wonderful, isn't it?
I'm sorry. At this point, you have to expect me to just sit there and mumble, because there's a lot of dialogue. My voice is definitely cracking. Lady Cruate. Ah, it's been quite some time, hasn't it, Will? You matured a great deal in the short years since I last saw you. Rumors of your rule have even reached the Sanctum. Some are kinder than others. Taking the reins of a runaway country must have its share of difficulties. Your face tells me as much. The frail child who could do little more than lie on the brink of death has come so far. Goodness, tears come so easily with old age. I'm grateful for you. I did nothing. You're the one who achieved everything. I'm surprised to see you in Grand Chad, Lady Gruaday. It's a curious thing. I received a rather forceful invitation here, you see, from one of your friends, the girl named Juna. Goodness knows how many times she's already come to visit the Sanctum, seeking instruction on magic. Some of the villagers are rather smitten with her. She declared that if I wouldn't feel guilty or welcome coming to Grand Trad, she would have a highway built directly between the capital and Sanctum. Oh, Juna, she probably would, too. And so there you have it. And now then, Will, or rather King Will, the 1,000-year seclusion of the Elda tribe may soon come to an end under your guidance. And yet, the journey ahead of you will be hard. The dreams you hope to achieve will feel just out of reach. So do stop by and show your face around our forest sometime. Your mother cannot do so herself, but I can whip up some of her favorite dishes in her spirit.
Isn't it?
Right, but Mom's right here with me.
Oh there!
Maybe. Not really.
Oh there!
She did say bye. Not to Will or anything, but she said that their job was done, so she left. So she left Gallica? She left from Gallica as well as the Moor dying? Or moving on? Oh, Your Majesty, I've heard from Fabian, you know? About how you still take the time to pop into the honeybee now and then? Ha! It's not very kingly of you, but that's what makes you so trustworthy. Please do keep treating Fabian and Maria well. For Greece's sake, too.
I love it.
You went over here.
Very good. Very good indeed.
Okay, we gotta go down here and just see it.
Welcome.
Ah, Your Majesty, I was wondering who you might be. I see you're still fond of wandering these parts, like always. I get it, though. I do love the night market myself, until last year, that is. Then I began to hate it, no thanks to Luis. It was truly a terrible situation all around, and yet somehow things have recovered. I have high hopes they'll be better than ever, too.
Aha! Fancy a chat?
Well, if it isn't Your Majesty, hello there. Even I don't have the pluck to try selling water to the king. Especially considering sales are up. We've got customers from all across the tribes now. Although I'm guessing people were just avoiding a Perpus-owned shop before. Probably. But I bought plenty of your stuff. I gave her millions of dollars.
What'll I do?
1 million, I think. Luis was crazy. I learned that firsthand. But the country before was riddled with mistakes. I'd like to think that the new king already knows, but frankly, I don't think much has changed in the last year. King or not, he's not that old. I'm sure he's doing his best, but in the end, he's just the old king's son. I don't expect very much of him. How dare you?
Lovely.
Ho there!
So, tomorrow's finally the day. Have you finished your preparations? Our journey to the Mage Academy in Montario will be quite long. Yes, but why are you taking me as a traveling companion? You saw how much I admired Luis, how hostile I was to our faith. Everyone said foolish things. Faced with national crisis, we clung to power instead of trying to use our power to solve it. The times change. The Mage Academy now opens its doors to anyone. No harm will come to those who want to learn there, but alas, my youth has fled me. So I'll use my wealth to ensure others can reach it. Take what you learn there and spread it throughout the kingdom, far and wide. Damn!
Lovely.
This man. That man has changed too. Oh no. Ah, Your Majesty, it's already been a year since you've ascended the throne, and 1 year since I lost my bid for it. Thinking back, I've no regrets. I'd not been able to defeat Luis in the end, as you did. That's for sure. It would have been impossible for me and for any other candidate if I were honest. I've come to believe in your power, Your Majesty. No, I'll not acquiesce on all fronts, you know. You needn't look further than your 6 partisans, your merry little band. I can appreciate your faith in your inner circle, but to award them all your key posts? Why, one might suspect you of collusion. The country requires views from all walks of life. Or put another way, why not appoint me as your prime minister? With my guidance, Uchronia would become a land of true beauty. Just when you think he's making a decent point, he plays his own angle. Don't let your guard down around that guy.
Lovely, that.
That's something.
What an unexpected coincidence, Your Majesty. No guards with you today? Don't worry, I'm no tattletale. I myself just left a meeting going over how the provincial governments are doing. We convene for the new year. How are things in Martira? Oh, it's as lively as it used to be, and we owe it all to you, Your Majesty. That dodgy mess you cleaned up for us feels like ancient history now. And I'm pleased to report, as head of the provincial lords, it's nothing but good news reaching my ears. Better relations between towns has employment up and over welfare, too. Overall welfare. Each town has specialities and wisdom to offer, and when we combine our heads, there's no problem we can't solve. I just feel so blessed to be part of it. I know I made some blunders when I first stepped into the governor's role, but I'm happy to share my failings so others don't repeat my mistakes. That brings me back.
Got to say,
I know I was trying to do too much on my own back then, and I got a bit overzealous. Of course, some lords are like I was once, and would rather manage things at their sole discretion than leave things to the people. And yes, taking every matter to public opinion can be laborious. But what with all the proceedings and disputes? And still, changing our own lives with our own hands makes the process worth the trouble. And choosing a king of our own will was all the inspiration we needed for change. Wait, you're letting me in here? You won't let me in any other building? Oh, we don't get to see who's top bounty hunter? Huh, nothing in there. Oh, Your Majesty, it's an honor. I've only recently been assigned to my post here at the recruitment center, so actually I was sorting through enlistment records from 2 years ago, and was surprised to find a certain signature. That's right, Your Majesty's signature, and General Strill's as well. And I was quite surprised to discover that the two of you met here, to think that they deployed the future king in the army. Horrifying. I don't have any bounties for you, Your Majesty. We've been at peace for a while now, thanks to you. And we're dealing with things one step at a time. Can you imagine the king just being like, all right, I need to make some money. You got any bounties out there?
Lovely, that.
Oh. Salva, you were the other guy. And that we fought with the helmsman? Well, if it isn't His Majesty, the captain of the Royal Guard was looking for you. As a former captain of the Caradrius, perhaps I should report your whereabouts? I can't deny that. I'm just giving you a hard time. It can be hard to shake old habits, despite the fact that I'm captain of the State Army. I parted ways with Luis shortly before his runner made for the Skyborn Royal Palace. When I saw the horror that Zorba had become, I knew the world he wanted was no world of mine. I thought I found my place within Luis's private forces after being disgusted by the shameless corruption of the Royal Army, but his intentions were worse than I could imagine. It was the general who pulled me back in. He said my experience leading a force of mixed tribes would be valuable. I'd only taken the job in hopes of atoning, so it's a strange twist. To serve with pride in the State Army, I once detested. Still, I wonder why he bothered with us. I can't overstate how miserable things were because of Luis, but I didn't end up fleeing. Perhaps because seeing your majesty fight stirred a sense of duty within me. I know there are still many who don't approve of you, but I shall do my part to protect the country you lead. It's my duty as your soldier. I wish the country nothing but the best over the coming years.
Amazing.
My, oh my.
There's Stroll.
Amazing.
There's Katharina. Okay.
Hi there.
Oh, well, if it isn't the big man himself. Good timing, mate. I just got back into town myself. Where'd you go?
What a day.
I'm captain of the Seekers recon team, remember? We travel the world doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And crazy doesn't even begin to describe what's beyond the sea, the sights, the magic, everything's so fantastic. I'm already itching to get back out there. Well, I'm not especially keen on dodging the bloody cannonballs when my ship gets too close. Lots of tension out there, but what country isn't a little tense? Everything from the customs to the way they think is so different, my head spins. Makes all the tribal bickering seem right dull if I can speak my mind. But this country's changing for the better. I'm glad I turned over the throne to you. I appreciate you definitely turning it over. No, come on, I'm just roasting ya. After we knocked heads, I knew I could trust ya with making the lives of us Parapets better than they was. All my cohort have found jobs, and some of them have even picked up new skills from being out at sea so long. But don't you worry your kingly head. I'll have it all whipped up in a report for you. Do something proper kingish with it, yeah? Okay. Alright, let's talk to Stroll before.
Hey.
Ah, skulking about the city again, are we? Which is to say, Hulkenberg is on the hunt. A classic game of cat and mouse. Though who is which, I dare not say. Man, his outfit is very... It looks a little strange, a little too high up normally, like on the shoulders and everything, but it is a fitting outfit for him. It has been a year since you ascended to the throne, but it's like you've hardly changed. Should I be more pretentious?
No.
A pretentious git from now on? That's rich. All that royal blood in you is positively wasted, my friend. What are we to do with you? Not that I can talk. I actually came out for a bit of a breather myself. You know, I see now that even those at the top have their struggles, a little too clearly. The general's duties feel overwhelming at times. But there are lives hanging in the balance. I recognize the weight of every decision I make, and I do find a satisfaction in protecting those lives. Remember our first meeting back at the recruitment center? I, a fallen noble with nothing to my name, and you, a struggling Elda traveler. Back then, my only goal was getting ahead. My people were a little more than an afterthought. If I hadn't met you, I'd have never realized the truth about my fortune, my father's intentions, and I certainly couldn't have saved the Hallians. I owe seeing the joy on their faces to you. I think I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Thank you. Give yourself some credit.
No.
I would still owe any credit I could take to you for showing me the way. They live stable, peaceful lives thanks to you. You've a whole country on your shoulders now. The road ahead will be full of challenges we can't possibly foresee. But show me the way and I'll blaze the trail. Now and always, it's my role as a warrior to be the vanguard.
That's why.
Our titles may have changed, but I'd like to think our friendship is steadfast as ever. Don't hesitate to rely on me, now and always.
Stay there.
Grand, innit?
I miss the days when the face rock was here. Never knew what to expect back then. Joyful one moment, miserable the next, remember? After Luis was defeated and the king decided. Indeed, I do. Suddenly, His Majesty's face eclipsed the others for the briefest of moments, and then it all crumbled away like sand. Over a bit too soon. After all that palaver, I'd say. No, I liked his coronation speech, but I can't say he's accomplished much of any importance since then. His strength certainly was incredible during the final battle in Grand Trad, but I do wonder what people in the other cities who didn't see that sight think of things. Either way, as long as next year is uneventful and peaceful, I'll consider it a win.
Ah, wonderful.
I did it! I did it!
All right, then.
Alright, give me a minute. Okay. Can you imagine?
All right.
Can you imagine if they're like, all right, you can go all over the world and talk to people here? I would have definitely ended the episode before that. 100%. We learned how brittle peace is, as well as the preciousness of a life lost. The peace we've regained could be lost again. We must remain vigilant.
Wonderful.
All right, we're going in.
So?
I think we've heard all we can from the people. Literally, all we can. Should we see where Maria is?
That reminds me.
Being here sure brings back memories. You remember how we came to here looking for Maria before the Tournament of the Throne? She was crying back then, though. She's happy now. You can say that again. This country's turned around since then, so no doubt about it. I'm sure there will always be differences of opinion, but your ideals are really coming to fruition now. I can feel it. That reminds me, what's up with that book you're carrying around now? Is that the one you've been working on yourself? I'm excited to see what kind of fantasy you can conjure up. But maybe that's not even the word for it. After all, if you're the one putting it to ink, that means you're going to make it a reality someday. Now then, Your Majesty, shall we get going? Oh, he's writing his book. Oh. Look at it. Not covered in rocks. And debris.
Oh, hello there. Oh, right. I suppose now I should call you Your Majesty. You know, I was just telling Papa, even through all that mess, everyone's really been working hard.
Am I keeping my promise properly from back then?
Yes, you beat the villain, and now the city's full of smiles. And I'm sure Papa's smiling down on me too.
That's good. Hearing that from you really lifts my heart.
It's a joy to see the kids like her smile. The future changes slowly, and the burden of its momentum will fall on their shoulders one day.
Don't worry. I'll try to do my part with what I've got. I want to help everyone understand that the world could be a better place if we can join hands with one another. Miss Fabian's fed so many hungry people since things changed. Some of those people even said they found their place there. I think I did too. If we can all change together for the better like that, we'll be closer to Your Majesty's and Papa's dream.
A place where I ought to be. A side of myself I ought to show. The path is never clear.
And I want to help with something too. I want everyone across the land to be able to smile.
Yes, I expect great things, my trusty advisor.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Majesty. Oh, thank you, Your Majesty.
We should be the ones thanking her. Feels like I can see the entire country's future in her smile.
Everyone!
Long time no see. How have you been?
As we find ourselves afield, I thought I might visit Alsace myself.
Hold on a tick. Those people there. Surely not.
Naturally, we're drawing attention. We didn't all have to go at once.
Needn't fuss, old thing. It's been too long since we were all together again anyway.
Lady Tuna, did she really come all this way in a runner? Could have asked His Majesty to pop over and bring you back with a teleport or two.
The unmitigated nerve.
Oh, it's fine. I wanted to take in our country as it is. It's definitely a little rougher outside the capital's walls. There's still traces of melancholia around, and the odd human roaming about.
We're sending soldiers out for every incident we can. But it's not easy to hear the voice of the people from more distant regions.
I guess it's obvious. But just because you're king now doesn't make you suddenly all-seeing.
A lesson I learned last year. In the end, I was blind to a great deal of this world. Never would have learned if I hadn't pushed out the door and seen it with my own eyes.
They were just talking about how they're like, something's missing. Oh, this king's going on a trip. He's right. The capital can be a bit of a bubble. There will always be more to do and learn beyond the walls. Yeah. Going on a trip?
A year ago, I would have just said we could fly over ourselves. I mean, let's be real. The capital isn't going to fall apart if we just sneak over for a little tour, is it?
Of course not. We specifically put precautions in place to keep things running.
Yet it has only been 1 year. We cannot be too complacent too soon, lest the dissidents seize on the opportunity.
Oh, there he is! Over there! See? I told you, that's His Majesty, innit? Might have been a bit too obvious.
Oi there, Your Majesty!
You dare hoy the king? You swine!
Steady on, Hockenberg, calm. You needn't draw steel on the poor fellow. We're the ones who indulged in this little day trip.
Your Majesty, thanks for all you do, really. Have to say, my life's a lot easier now.
There's more work to do every day, but we're in this together. We believe in you. Everyone's so supportive. Kind of brings back memories from last year.
Rather. It's the sort of thing to get a chap all misty-eyed over the past. What a journey it was.
We really did just leg it up and down the country slaying dragons, eh? Can't believe we actually survived it.
They were dangerous times, but exciting ones too.
When we fought to appease the dragon god, I had no idea we would have to face another 4 dragons.
Nor I. Never thought the day would come when I'd be hailed as a dragon slayer. Huh. Life is full of surprises.
That was an optional quest. Is this all? This is optional dialogue then. Okay, for sure, right?
Right.
I resolve to believe in my ideals, no matter what may come. Yeah, even back then, even if the world is slow to change, a king's beliefs can never waver.
It was a hard road, but we did have fun together, didn't we?
Looks like we're drawing a crowd. Time to get back to work.
Indeed. A veritable mountain of tasks awaits us, and I will see it crested.
How do you end this? How do you walk away from this? Like...
And not long after, the new year dawned.
Oh, okay. The new year. I'm saying, like, how do you end this story? Because, like, the way they're doing it, they're just showing their lives repeatedly. This is how you have to do it. You have to take off and then go into the sunset with all your friends.
A journey? Are you really planning on leaving us?
There's more I have to see. With my own eyes.
You want to know what's going on in the world, huh? Well, I guess you are the king.
Sounds like fun, but a daily jaunt down to the slums is one thing, and a proper journey is quite another. You're a king now, lad. You've got the people's expectations on your shoulders. It's all right to just sit on your throne and mind the home front, you know?
That's not our style.
I don't care to be kingly. That's less important than doing what I need to do.
You're not even concerned? Can't you take this a little more seriously?
Ever the fearless gadabout, eh? Well, I take your point, lad. Magla and the humans make a fine barometer for the anxiety still swirling in the country. So you go out and give it a proper survey, where it is and how much is there. If people can't face their anxieties, they can't keep their eyes forward. And if they can't do that, we'll have a bally hard time moving forward as a nation or a people. So you want to get a better grasp of it all. That's your most important duty as a ruler. That's what you're thinking, eh?
Right.
Even the most faraway future begins with the belief that it can be realized, so I'll press onward. That's the best I can do.
If that was your plan, you could have just said so.
Sounds like a fine idea to me. A proper spot of fun, besides. Wouldn't expect any less from our king and captain. Well, since I'm the bally court engineer, I've no choice but to come along. I'm the only driver fit to maneuver the Royal Skyrunner after all. And why, you're the Dragon Slayer King, bane of monsters all across the country. When I imagine what sort of wondrous encounters you've got next, well, I'm all agog.
What are these words?
Here begins our quest anew. Let us sally forth upon our... hello? Are you not listening to me?
Sire, you've really got to stop chasing these ideas all on your own. You'll be the death of us.
Once again, sire, I've asked you countless times to give word if you're to leave the castle. Such caprice.
Their outfits.
Nurse, don't tell me you called for them beforehand.
Saved us a bit of time, eh? Though, hello, what's this? I count only 2 of the 6 partisans. Short a few spears.
For my part, I believe 'tis unrealistic for all of us to depart the capital together.
Oh, so you have no plans to stop our little adventure, eh?
Hulkenberg and I talked it over. We decided that if you insist on going, we'd rather go with you than stop you.
Why are you wearing your normal clothes, though?
I'm glad to hear that, but will that be all right?
I was thinking back to our last fight with Luis. So many people supported us, but not for any high-minded ideals or arguments.
They were supporting us because we were actively fighting a monster on their behalf. In the end, people make choices based on their personal experience and emotion. Even if decided justly and supported by prosperity, the people may struggle to trust a king whose face they do not know. An invisible ruler is no cure for their fears.
Right. I'm not opposed to the idea of getting out into the world again. Really, it might be the wisest move to make sure you're a king everyone knows.
My friends and allies believe as I do, and their support is the greatest treasure I could have.
Still, this early into the new year, 'tis never a dull moment in your Majesty's employ.
Bit of a smaller party than we last set out with, huh? But it's a pleasure to be on the road again with you.
Okay, but can we really afford to have both our general and the Royal Guard's captain coming along for this?
'Tis natural course for the Royal Guard to accompany the king. And I trust my corps is not so feeble that it will fall apart in my absence.
We'll make it work. Got to learn to trust others and delegate, right? And we'll just have to lead by example.
Right then, let's go.
No, the rest really aren't gonna
You once
suddenly show
heard
up.
my voice and answered a query in kind. Is fantasy a powerless creation? That timeless question. So long as life remains in the world, we seekers all shall search for our answer. But he will find his. Of that I am certain. And it is thanks to you for believing in and guiding him. That was the true purpose of my royal magic, you know. To seek and obtain guidance from denizens of a land beyond ours. A land that has not yet lost hope. And it was you who answered the call. Armed with your hope, armed with the power of fantasy, you rose in glory. Such courage, such whimsy, and yes, what thrills.
I don't know if I'm very whimsical myself, but
you have my sincerest thanks.
Feels familiar. It's been far too long.
Aye, the wind feels an echo of days past.
Unusually poetic for you.
They're awful, aren't they? They would have left us behind. Oh.
Well, I'm not certain we're in a position to talk, having followed straight after, saying we could just teleport back.
Well, hey, we figured the kids might want to change your scenery, like.
Hey.
Wow! Amazing!
Poetic indeed. That the scepter's absence restored order to Magla, and even greenery to the sands.
I'll say, I definitely like this view better.
Let's go.
Damn, it is significantly more green too. Oh. Maria finally got to go. Credits. We have done it. This was just all around really good. I'm like personally extremely exhausted, so my my reactions the past episode or two are probably not the best, but this is just obviously I'm just exhausted, but I loved all of it. Everything about this was just great. I guess I did. Technically, you don't have to go around and talk to everyone like I did in the epilogue, but I had to, and I'm glad that they put all the NPCs I was trying to keeping track of in Grand Trad so that I could talk to them. You know, well, most of them, like a Denny for sure. There are definitely a few characters, like just random NPCs who didn't have names that I would have liked to go talk to, but thank you for not opening up the entire map at the end there. Holy, that would have been too much. Ooh. It's really quiet. Yeah, we've definitely never heard this version. This is definitely a different version. Probably gonna get copywritten. I mean, one in 3 episodes on this playlist, this entire playlist, are all claimed at this point, so I don't doubt this is one of the songs. Oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna sit through the credits. I'm definitely at some point going to skip a little bit. I'll unpause as soon as, I see something that I feel like I need to show. But at this point, it's been a very long episode, so I'm just gonna sit back, take in the credits, and then we'll close this out. I'm gonna do a short review at the end. Honestly, it's not gonna be hard to review this game. Not at all. Not. A lot of times I have to sit and think about the numbers. I know all the numbers right now, and I'll give them in a minute. But let me sit through these credits for a bit. Ooh, nearing the end, we got this image, which you start the game out seeing this. Those weren't very long credits, surprisingly. It was about 6 or 7 minutes, probably. The Great
Dear
Seeker.
Guest, from a world I shall never know. In your eyes, I know our journey was ultimately a fiction. However, I hope your memories of this fantastical adventure burn as bright in your reality. I hope the promise of our world echoes in you. With all my heart, I hope that fantasy gives you strength.
Definitely, 150%. Oh! It's continuing? Oh, is that the Caradrius? What is that?
Look at that. The rubble's just bait for tourists now.
I never expected a view like this.
Let's see it all. Let's see the world.
Yeah.
A new journey now beckons. In days of Eld, the people prospered and perished in turn. Struck by their ways, I wrote a book of my dearest ideals. A tale of fantasy. In my vision, they placed their trust, and so the kingdom breathed new life.
The strength to believe in the unknown, that can change everything. Without a doubt, you will face all sorts of trials ahead. But carry onward with all your heart. Onward, fearless, into a world unknown.
That better mean fantasy lives on. That definitely sounds like a metaphor too, but I don't know why they would. I don't know. Like, this ended good enough that you could just leave it to your imagination, like, period. This doesn't necessarily to me mean like sequel bait. But maybe I would love to see that there's more to the world and then just go on an exploration with them again. But then again, they haven't really done that with any. This is a completely different series. It's not Persona. They could do another one with the main character, with Gallica, with everyone. They could do it for sure. Coronation of the King. Brought about true peace. All right. By saving clear data, certain things can be transferred over as is. You can transfer items, money, mag, virtues, scanned item or enemies, memorandum, archetype statuses. Wait, but not level? Huh. All right, let me save this quick. All right, I grabbed a drink while I was at it. Look, oh, it's gone. We had a star. Oh, I wanted, I guess I can show it. We have a star. A fancy star. All right, this was a very, very good game. Very big surprise coming out of here from day one. I know I mentioned this right out of the gates in episode 1. I knew nothing about this coming in. I didn't even know. I mean, the only thing I knew was that it was by the same people who made the Persona series, but I had no idea it was going to follow a similar pattern or just give you that same feel, the same vibes as it. So I wasn't expecting this, but it ended up being really good. And speaking of that, if I have to stay on the load menu or it's going to switch. All right. I'm just going to do this really quick. I already know the numbers I want. And I mean, just put them up. Me. Editor me, put them up. So basically everything's a 10. Basically everything. In fact, the rating overall is a 10. I'm just going to mark these all. Boop. The only thing that isn't a 10 in my opinion, and it's only a 9.75 I would have put up there, is sound, because the audio ducking was non-existent in a lot of parts that it should have been. I'm just starting with a negative really quick because that's the only bad thing I have to say. The audio ducking just didn't exist, so the music they chose to make in this game is also like loud and in your face that the characters just kind of get drowned out by it. And the default setting for music is max. And I had it down to 50% there at the end. And I still had a little bit of trouble hearing people. So I can't imagine if you just didn't touch the audio settings. Like, how could you even hear the characters then? Or am I crazy? Is it my audio setup that I can't hear them? I don't know. But like, that is the one thing that I'm like, all right, well, that deserves to lose a little points. That and not everything I feel should be voiced is not voiced, I guess. Like, you know, the final Bond events are always voiced, which is great. But like when you have that compared to all of like Persona 5, none of the the confidants were voiced until the beginning and end. And then in Royal, suddenly the entire game is voiced. Like everything is voiced. Clearly, after they got money, they went and filled in the blanks or something because they weren't sure. And I think they might be doing that here as well, where they're like, oh, we can't afford to pay them for every voice line yet. But if this game is like a huge success, then you can afford to pay them and do it in like a metaphor ReFantazio. X. That's the word that comes to mind if I was going to make this one. But yeah, for that sake, I don't know. I don't know, but it's not really a big deal. It's only a big deal for me because I was reading personally out loud, so it's not like if I was just playing this game on my own, it'd be fine if it wasn't voiced. Like it wouldn't be a big deal, but it's just the fact that I ran out of breath having to read for hours on end, which is not something you account for. So I don't hold that against anyone. That's why it's not included in the rank. The only thing is the audio ducking is loses points for me. But now for the positives. Story. It was great. It was great. I have no issues. Very great world building. They give you a lot of time to get used to everything, the world, the environment, almost every character had like very good character development. I mean, there's a few characters I could probably nitpick, and there are a few things that I could probably be like, why wasn't that explained? Like Alonso, how did he live? But then again, it's not something that I need to take points away for. In fact, it's the fact that they didn't tell you how he lived kind of makes me walk away like wondering, like it leaves me with questions that are going to stick in my mind. Like, how does Alonso get away with this? How did he not die? So yeah, overall great. The only thing that was a little shaky, and originally I thought I could lose points for, was the beginning. Not the very beginning, but like the royal funeral felt rushed. It felt like they were just trying to quickly put out the information you needed, as seen by the first time Maria shows up when Grius dies. They're like, oh my god, Maria, have you seen her? She's missing. And then 10 seconds later, an NPC comes by and he's like, hey, we found her. And then they skip to the next scene. Like, some of it felt like they're trying to get you, trying to make, have a lot go on at once to get you in familiar with the characters, but they didn't give you any time. But as soon as the tournament for the throne started, everything's been perfect since then. Like, it was all great. Ending very good, despite me being so tired that I probably showed like no reaction to it. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, sound, the music is amazing. It's very distinctly different than Persona, despite being the same composer. Like, I would have thought it kept like a similar groove, but this is very different. You would not be able to, if you just heard these tracks back to back with any of the other Persona games. I don't know if you'd be able to be like, this is the same composer. I don't know if you'd recognize them. And I will admit they stuck in my head a lot more than I thought they would. Like, I didn't really think they would stand out because they do feel more orchestral, more chanty, and it's not something you really think about to stand out. Like some of the Persona songs, there's no lyrics that I would immediately attach to, like Never See It Coming, stuff. But something about this, the music stuck in my head a lot, very well. So yeah. And then on to, as for art, why I'd give it a 10, I mean, it just looks great. I mean, enough said. These ratings are all based off of like other similar JRPG in this genre, like the rest of the Persona series. I would probably compare it. I would have to include plenty of JRPGs in this, like Tales games, or even Trails. But this is more AAA than Trails, so I think that I wouldn't want to compare it to that as far as any ratings go. But art-wise, this was just, it looked great. The UI was great. Menus are amazing. I love the stop motion choice. It's very different, and it's very effective. Like even this little selection on which file I'm using, like it's so good. It's just good. It's really good. All right. As for gameplay, the game felt challenging enough, especially like early to mid game. Very, very challenging. Towards the end, obviously, I may have grinded a little too much, but that's on me. I had no trouble in the entire last 2 dungeons, but that that's just because I had too much free time, honestly. But the early to mid game, it felt like I was challenged, but it was possible, you know? And the grinding wasn't like super easy. You couldn't just super grind even with a trance crystal. You couldn't just get away with it. And the fact that they gave you like deadlines and timers on the calendar and stuff, but they gave that just a little extra leeway where it didn't feel like you were so pressured like in other Persona games. I don't know. It just worked. It worked well. I didn't feel stressed about choosing what I had to do with my limited time like I do with any Persona game. In every Persona, I'm like, all right, well, I could hang out with them, but then they're not going to be available in this day. In this one, they're available until you get their rank up, and then they change to a different thing. Like sometimes they're available on the Gauntlet Runner and then on nighttime. So like, but then they're always available every single day, which great decision. I kind of hope Persona takes that going forward, because this leeway has felt good. Not to mention the progression of each zone, going to each capital and doing things on the way. They designed it so well to give you time to look around all the areas, do all the dungeons, and not feel, well, also still having the calendar system feel like it's going to have some pressure on you, I guess. I don't know. Very good. Difficulty. Yeah, I mean, content also goes with that. I mean, side quests don't really feel that special in this. The side quests didn't do anything super crazy. I mean, it was just go here, do this dungeon, or go here, grab me this. So those don't really stand out, but I don't know. I never really felt like they weighed down the content. It didn't really, it was just, all right, I'll do your quest quick, you know? But yeah. And then rating overall as the genre, like JRPG, this is a huge surprise. A 10 for me. I don't know why. I wasn't expecting it, but nowadays it feels like everyone's either half-assing a game or they're just, I don't know, they're just not putting in the effort where it counts. It doesn't feel like there's soul in most games that I play. Well, not games that I play. Actually, most of the games I play feel like they have soul in them. They just might not be, 10s. But I don't know. A lot of the games that I played like a few years back, it just feels like people are trying to push something out to make money, This one definitely, you could tell they took their time. They had a story to tell and they told it. I'm very glad that it ended up not being a real fourth wall break at the end. They did a little flip-flop with you during the Moore thing where he's like, yeah, this world is just a fantasy, And then they said, actually, that is the real world. What I just showed you with Tokyo is actually a fantasy. That little flip-flop there was great. If it would have not flip-flopped and we found out that this world was just a fantasy in character, in world, I would have been a little disappointed, I guess. I'm glad that this world exists and it's not just like, all right, this is a guy who's dealing with trauma in Tokyo or something and it's all in his head, this fantasy world, which it could be. It's still, but I don't know. I don't see it like that. But yeah, that little flip-flop was great. The twists at the end were just constant. There was a lot of, they didn't give you any time when like Stroll sacrificed himself and then flew off the thing, and then like Duris blowing up, like they didn't give you any time, and then Will pulls out his heart like back to back, and then you're like, wait, people are dying, and then Moore's like, actually I'm your dad, and it just all hits you like back to back. So damn, that part was very well done. I loved it. So yeah, I'm going to end this here. I don't really have anything more to say, and I'm dying right now. I'm already sick a little bit, but I've been reading so much that my throat, I think, is going to not work for a week. But I'm also taking a week break from this slot before continuing with another game. So If you have any suggestions for games, the next game I have on the list, which is a huge departure from what I've been doing in this slot, is Ghost of Tsushima. I plan to play that because I have no idea what it is, but Ghost of Yote looks very interesting. So I figure why not play the first one, because I'm not going to play the new game until I play the first one. So that is next in this slot. Trails of Through Daybreak should be starting like the following Monday from the release on this one in the other slot. So I still have a JRPG in that slot. But if you have suggestions after Ghost of Tsushima, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. I have a lot of games I want to play, but most of them are retro, so they go in the weekend slot. So if you have any games that are not weekend worthy, if they're like main worthy, let me know. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you like it, and I will see you in another game.